Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Toad Talk Podcast. This is episode 23, and we've got a lot of games to talk about, plus the aftermath of QuakeCon over the weekend. Glad to have you all back. I know there's been some changes going effect here on the podcast lately, but we're going to get through that. Hopefully, by the time you listen to this, we're going to have our Spotify on a new Spotify account. So anyone listening, hopefully you're listening to us from the new official Spotify Croakitoad Spotify account, as well as finally getting us up on Audible and iHeart Radio as well for the podcast. And we'll obviously be staying on Apple Podcasts and YouTube as well. So thank you all for listening and tuning in for another week of Toad Talk Podcasts. And I'll just go ahead and bring in our guests, our panelists for this week. We've got Grem coming back once again.
Yeah, I'm still here. That's awesome. It feels good to be here.
And also we have Azarain returning back again for his second week in a row.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, indeed, indeed. And I'm going to go straight into our comments for last week's video. And we'll go right into that. So let's see what you guys were talking about on the episode 22 of the video. And DJ Bruce Nelson came in and told me good morning. Well, good morning to you as well. We had Lucinda coming in. Oh, yeah, wouldn't be a me stream without some good old-fashioned rage. To be fair, my rage moments usually wrap up about as quickly as they come on. I try not to be overly negative. Usually if that happens, it's me being unreasonable or in a mood. Not always the game's fault, for sure. Feel like I might be wrapping up side content, which will allow to focus 100% on the main story. Nice. Lucinda, obviously, talking about her time in the new Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced game that she's put a lot of time into. What such a great game. I can't wait to... I know I say this, I sound like a broken record every podcast, but I can't wait to finally play it. This last week, Signified came back after his big response on the Final Fantasy 14 expansion, and all he has to say is, I've got nothing to say except candy sucks. Obviously entering into the GTA 6 giveaway from last week. We also have Grem RCWF commenting, saying this is a little bit into the future past, but I feel like the next episode is going to be a good one. Don't miss it. Well, here we are. I hope nobody misses it. I hope it's going to be a good one. We also have Spence coming in. Great stuff as always, guys. Really excited for the new Spider-Man movie the more I hear about it. Seems like a great year for both movies and games. Maggie Moore commented, said, not fun being chased. Yeah, we were. Can't wait for all of us to play World of Warcraft together. Yes, I was commenting on her streaming, I believe, Resident Evil 3 remake last week, being chased by Nemesis on her Twitch stream. Snake Kennedy, repeat viewer and listener every week, says, I personally think that A Brand New Day is the best MCU Spider-Man film. Nice. Alba Dragon came in with a comment and saying, Dear CPW, book Spike Ryan versus Candy Sucks for tomorrow's show. Thank you. Edit, the name for Coke Syndicate mentioned by someone was the Coke Cartel. Yes, that was a great name. And I think Cliffy came up with that. But we didn't get to see Spike Ryan versus Candy Sucks last week, but maybe this week. Maybe this week. You know he will love it. I roll. Green Gamer Bro came in. Once again, another repeat listener. Thanks for sticking with us. Saying, keep up the good work, man. Thank you, Green Gamer Bro. Thank you for continuing to listen to us every week. And then Chris is a Deviant came back once again with another comment. I believe he is the Star Fox Nintendo Switch 2 game giveaway winner, and said, was kind of confused on why you guys haven't uploaded Spotify yet, but thank God there's a new episode here. Yeah, so last week's episode on Spotify got flagged for copyright. I believe it was the Spider-Man trailer, the music in the Spider-Man trailer, and so it got taken down. But yeah, this will all coincide in getting us on the brand new Spotify account we're going to be dealing with, which will be connected directly to the Croakitoad Spotify instead of the one we're using now. So if you're listening to this on YouTube right now and you usually listen on Spotify, search Croakitoad. All the episodes should be up on another account, and just we'll be continuing our episodes there and re-uploading every other episode as well. So all 23 episodes will be up on this new Spotify account by the time you hear this, hopefully. So just look out for us there. And that should solve the confusion over on the Spotify end. But yeah, thank you guys for commenting and being an active part of the podcast each and every week. We love listening and hearing your comments that you leave for us. And hopefully moving forwards, we will have even more, especially considering that I'm about to drop this week's GTA 6 giveaway special hashtag keyword. And it's going to be, leave them in the comments, whether you're listening on YouTube or Spotify, drop them in the comments. Each one is an extra entry, hashtag Starfish Island. This week's special keyword to enter into the GTA 6 giveaway in November is hashtag Starfish Island. One word, one hashtag, drop them in the comments. That'll add you another entry, raffle entry into the giveaway coming up in November for the grand prize $100 Ultimate Edition of GTA 6. And of course, the regular $80 standard edition of GTA 6. We'll be doing 2 giveaways as previously promised by Raji here on the podcast. But that being said, we're going to move on to Bring Your Own News, and I will kick things off about my time at QuakeCon. I left to go down there on Wednesday the 5th and just kind of spent the night there, and then woke up the next. Wait, did I go on Thursday? No, I think I left on Wednesday, and then spent the night. And I woke up Thursday morning and just started the streaming then. So I streamed Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I could have streamed on Sunday, but we were just kind of getting out of there early. And while I was there, I took over 250 photos, and I also took almost 100 videos. You can check out these photos on the Croakitoad Facebook page right now, gallery, or you can go to croakitoad.com and go to the top of the web page and go under community. You can see adventures. You can click on adventures, and you can see QuakeCon 2026 right now, with 256 photos available for viewing. If you'd like to check a look at QuakeCon, I took photos of the BYOC room, the exhibition hall, all the exhibitor booths, all the different kind of really cool rigs and desktops and PCs that you can find in the room. A lot of the swag, memorabilia, and stuff like that. Some cosplaying as well. Really fun time. We go to QuakeCon every year, August time, and it's kind of the get-together for the Croakitoad gaming community there in Dallas each year. This year was a little bit of a smaller turnout than we've had, but I'm hearing next year we're already going to have a big turnout. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that stays true. Everyone comes who says they're going to try to come and make it a big, awesome event. I made it work despite the low turnout for us as a community. We still hung the Croakitoad Gaming banner up. I met a lot of great connections, met a lot of great indie game people who were presenting their independent game booths there at the event. Got a lot of really great connections there. And I might also be a part of the charity team for Dallas Pets Live, which is a charity, local pets charity adoption organization there that has always been hand in hand with QuakeCon for like trying to help adopt dogs and cats there in the local area. They always do a special t-shirt, commemorative t-shirt each year for QuakeCon. And they also do live streams where if you're a streamer, you can stream on there from in the room where all the cats and the little dogs are, and people go in there to like spend some time to get away from gaming and just cuddle with the cats and cuddle with the dogs and just pet them and sit down in the little fenced area and just kind of, it's like a relaxation room with the pets in there. And they have a live streaming booth. And I talked to the organizer of it, told him who I was, told him, my status as a streamer and stuff. And he was very eagerly excited to have me join on board next year. So you can expect Croakitoad to, fingers crossed, have a time slot for that charity organization. We try to raise money for Dallas Pets Live next year. Great cause. We at Croakitoad love raising money for charity and doing great things, such as Toys for Tots, St. Jude, Wounded Warrior, all that good stuff. So for the pets, heck yeah, I'm a huge animal lover, and I know how much Dallas Pets loves QuakeCon, and it's just kind of synonymous with the entire event. So that'll be a lot of fun to be a participant in that as a streamer, because heck, like I told them, I'm already streaming in the BYOC anyway, so might as well do it for a great cause. So hopefully I'm a part of that team there. And of course, all the other connections I met throughout the weekend was really worth it. And from a streaming sense, and I'll wrap this up, we were able to get through Pratfall again as a community. We beat it. This was my third time getting through the Pratfall game. We had a successful peak climb. I also played the original Resident Evil to completion on Steam for the first time, the Steam version. I also played Doom Episode 1 on Ultraviolent, completed that. And then I did about 6 or 7 indie game demos as well, while I was at the BYOC, plus some other multiplayer like NASCAR and a really fun time slot of us doing Among Us. We brought that back after several years. That was a really loads of fun. I can't wait to jump back on there again with another multiplayer night. But overall, it was a fun experience. I just wish more people were there, but we made it work, and it was still a fun experience overall. Another QuakeCon in the bag for me, QuakeCon 2026. You can expect to see a YouTube video of all the videos I took of the entire experience coming soon, in like a documentary form of video, showing like me leaving, getting there, and then leaving here to get there, and then leaving there to get back. So you can expect that long form video to be popped up soon, probably later this week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Another QuakeCon in the bag, and hopefully we get more people from the Croakitoad community to come down next year, start saving up now, and let's get a big turnout. We need to get a lot of people down there. It really is a lot of fun. All right, that's all I have. I will pass it over to Grem.
Couple things too, real quickly. I love how you have it at Croakitoad and then Adventures. I think that's really, really cute and funny. I like that. But anyways, we'll get back to serious stuff. So I guess I've been doing the National Days thing. So I got kind of a two-parter. So today's National Days, because it is Monday, August 10th that we're doing this. It's National Lazy Day today. And it's also National Connecticut Day, the state of Connecticut. So I can only think of two people in our community that have basically a national day that represents both of them. And I'll let you guys, if you want, you can say it in the comments, figure it out. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. And Connecticut also has a little spot in my heart too. It's really, really a neat state if you haven't been. And the second thing I wanted to bring up real quickly too is I saw this during the week. Sega is auctioning off Shadow the Hedgehog's real life motorcycle for charity. The auction, I believe, will take place on August 10th and through the 11th as part of the Autumn Stafford sale. And I imagine it's going to get a high penny. I believe it's from the movie, if I'm not mistaken. Where Shadow was in Sonic 3 movie or something of that nature. So they're going to be auctioning off a Shadow, like the Hedgehog motorcycle, like a real life motorcycle, for charity. So that's something to kind of look forward to. And if it strikes your fancy, definitely check that out on August 10th.
Nice. Well, it is August 10th, so go search for it now if you want to.
No, I'm sorry. It was October 10th. This was the auction. I apologize. Today is, though, August 10th. You are right. So, yes. But no, the auction, excuse me, is October.
Wait, you mean not November? Like everything else?
No, I can't imagine what's pushing out everyone in November, but I guess it's something really big and huge. But yeah, October, apparently. October 10th. Sorry.
October, okay. Well, at least they're avoiding the one massive thing to get in with all the other things.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. And Azarine, what have you got for the table this week?
I am pleased to announce something that isn't a video game this time. A shocker. Today, Toronto Zoo is celebrating the birth of an endangered pygmy hippo. If y'all remember the Mudang craze, this is the exact same type of pygmy hippo that was born. They are very endangered, like 1,000 to 2,000 left in the wild type endangered, and they are very solitary. So having them breed isn't always necessarily something that happens. So anytime one of these is born, it is cause for celebration. The mother has currently had 3 so far with the males that she's had around her. So she is working in captivity to help bring those numbers up, which is fantastic. And if you go look at the little baby, it is just as cute as Mudang.
Nice. Yeah. Hopefully we'll have Mudang 2 viral takeover. That's not the hashtag, by the way, for this week. All right, we're going to move into our gaming block, and to kick things off, we have a game that is near and dear to all of our hearts. They came out with Apparently, this is going to be the last final major update to the game that we all love, and it's called Peak. Let's take a look at the very short trailer here and see what they have to say.
Hey, Scouts. This is Scoutmaster Myers of Troop Number 4. This will be my final journal entry. When we crashed in this place, I thought it a freak accident. Now, I am beginning to believe it was Providence. This island has been drawing me here since the moment I was born, and it intends to keep me here forever. Please, someone, anyone, come back for me.
Well, it comes out tomorrow, which is Tuesday, which you know what that means. Sorry, CPW. The final ascent from Peak is here. It is dropping two new biomes called the Gloom and the Citadel. There's looks like a teaser for zombies. It very much looks like a very graveyard looking aesthetic on one of them. And then inside the tower, it very much looks like Sin's Fortress from Dark Souls. Two very unique biomes that they're going to be adding on top of all the other biomes. I'm just sad that this is the final update. They're saying it makes me sad because I want Peak to live and last forever. But I understand that the team, you know, they want to move on to other things, like they've been really trying to push their Crash Out Crew game, for example, as well. But the synopsis here says, check out the latest Peak's teaser trailer for a peek at the co-op climbing game's final major update. The Final Ascent update features new variant biomes, Gloom and the Citadel, which will cycle out with the Caldera and the Kiln. Peak, the Final Ascent update, will be available on PC August 11th, which is tomorrow. So this is interesting. This will cycle out with the last two levels, which is Caldera, which is the very lava place where you jump from rock to rock, the semi-last level. And then, of course, the Kiln is the upwards, the vertical movement to reach the top of the mountain. So these two levels here will cycle out with those last two levels. So sometimes you're going to get the regular Caldera and the Kiln, and sometimes you will get the Gloom and then the Citadel to finish off. And then I guess the helicopter is waiting for you at the top of the Citadel. So, yeah, I love this because I want more Peak content. I just don't love this because they're talking about it being the last one. So I can't wait to try this out. And yeah, I am actually like partially serious about saying, sorry, CPW, we're doing Peak tomorrow. But I will definitely be jumping on this as soon as possible because I can't wait to try out the new biomes and see what they're all about. It's just a sad day a little bit to hear that this is the last major update. I mean, I guess in a way you can look at this optimistically and think, well, maybe they'll eventually work on Peak 2, maybe, if that's the case. But I understand they also want to work on other projects too, so you can't really hold it against them, I suppose. But Grem, what do you think about these two new biomes and this being the last major update for Peak, as they're saying, as they're talking about?
I actually saw this and did a little homework. Normally I don't do nearly as much homework as I should. It looks like when this comes out tomorrow, or August 11th, in a 2-week period, it's going to be the Citadel and Gloom. It's going to be nothing but those two because they want people to actually play it, get used to it, everything of that nature. And then from after 2 weeks, then it'll start to rotate out. I believe the zombie thing that you were talking about might have been just the Scoutmaster's arm, but I'm not entirely sure. At the same time, too, it sounds like they're also now that they've gotten this final update done and over with, their aim now for Peak is to get it on, I believe, console. I don't believe it's on console yet.
Well,
I could be wrong on that.
You got my attention there.
Yeah,
hopefully with crossplay.
Yeah, that's their number one goal, is to get it on console. I think that's what they were saying next. They did say also there's a lot of hidden things, Easter eggs, certainly surprises in this one. I also saw a video too that they were constantly changing the name of what Gloom and the Citadel were, and then at the end of that little thing, when they told us like 10 different names, they did threaten us that they could bring in Wisconsin as a map. So we all have to be really, really careful and be nice and behave on these two maps, because we do not want Wisconsin as a map in Peak, okay? It sounds horrifying. But I am definitely for, like, really, really, really want to jump into this. I know you said partially. I'm right there with you, man. Like, sorry, CPW, we can do a Royal Rumble style Peak match, and we'll just call it CPW and call it good. This way we get two birds in one stone, right? I'm very, very excited for these two. I can't wait to just dive right in and just it'll be a lot of fun, especially with a lot of people like that we normally have for Peak.
Azarine, what do you feel about the last major update for Peak and these last two interchangeable biomes for the last two levels?
I love the aesthetics of them. I love the correlation that you made to Sen's Fortress for the Citadel, just with the swinging balls and stuff. It looked fantastic. They look great. With them closing this out, this also means that they could leave open a large window for the modding community to make their own. So I'm seeing potential through the players to make something even greater. Talking about the Easter eggs, different endings possibly with the Citadel? Question mark. Overall, though, I'm excited. That's really all I can say about this. Is I'm excited. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I think as a community, as us as a whole, I'm pretty sure Peak won multiplayer game of the year in the Croakitoad community last year. I'd have to.
I don't know. Maybe Baldur's Gate 3 might have. You never know.
Oh man, do I even have that? I guess I don't have that on the. I thought I had it on my page. I thought I did. Well, nevertheless, we all love Peak in this community. It's definitely always been a very fun multiplayer game for us to go. It's almost like our go-to game after Phasmo and Left 4 Dead before that. This game kind of took over after that. And it's kind of a sad day when it says it's the last major update, but you got to hold out hope that maybe behind the scenes, maybe they're already working on a Peak 2, maybe getting that crossplay integration like you're talking about, and then maybe opening it up to like the modding scene where gamers can create their own maps and upload them to the servers as well. That would, bring a little bit more of replayability to it as well. But just the fact that they're saying that this is the last major update just still makes me sad, because I want Peak to go on forever.
It's a little bittersweet, yeah.
Yeah, for real. Okay,
Here's hoping that they do like Terraria.
Well, you will definitely be seeing some brand new Peak content this week from Croakitoad community for sure, as soon as possible, because I can't wait, just like everybody else, to jump into those last two biomes. Okay, moving on to our next game that we're going to cover this week. This was a game that they revealed to us in person, in-house at QuakeCon on, it was either Friday or Saturday. They revealed us to right there in the BYOC. I was standing right in front of Marty Stratton and Hugo Martin when they dropped this on us, that right there in the middle of the BYOC, and then news broke out all over the video gaming internet about it. But Quake Dawn of the Machine was released. This was a new free update to the original Quake. The synopsis here is a free update for Quake Dawn of the Machine launch trailer. See what to expect in this new episode for the FPS for the first-person shooter. Quake Dawn of the Machine features 19 new maps and new enemy and weapon variants. To celebrate Quake's 30th anniversary, the award-winning team at Machine Games, in collaboration with id Software, returns with Dawn of the Machine, a brutal new episode building on their critically acclaimed work on Dimension of the Machine and Dimension of the Past. In the nightmare, escape the illusion. Ranger is trapped in a dimension of endless illusion, reliving the same violent cycles for what feels like lifetimes, dying thousands of times in a futile attempt to escape. Wearied but unbroken, he has heard rumor of the nightmare machine. Beyond the hordes of monsters twisted by an eternity in the elder realms lies the machine. It is believed its destruction will shatter the illusion, finally breaking the loop. That is the synopsis for it. We'll take a look at the trailer here real quick and give our thoughts. There you go. Cool to see some Quake content coming out to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the video game. It was also cool to see it there live in person as they dropped it. We immediately played this, and on the Xbox version, there are 3 extra added achievements to it. All 3 are very easy with cheats. Yes, I'm not ashamed to admit that I used level skip, God mode, and no clip to get those 3 achievements and get it 100% done, just for achievement's sake. But I will be going back and playing this legit 4-player co-op. It does have crossplay on it with 4-player through the campaign of all the 30 levels. It was 30 levels, right? Or was it? No, 19 levels. So you can expect a full-fledged, legitimate playthrough of that here on the Croakitoad's channel at some point, to just try it out and check it out now that the achievements are out of the way. But this was really cool. I've always been a huge fan of the original Quake, the aesthetic of it, the more horror side of the original Quake rather than the more sci-fi and planetary side of Quake 2. I know a lot of people were hoping for a lot of different things coming out of QuakeCon, whether it be the remaster of Quake 3 Arena, the remaster of Quake 4, or even the more news or a reveal on Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas remastered as well, which has already been rumored to be, well, not even rumored, it's been confirmed that they're working on right now, Bethesda. But we didn't get any of that. Kind of disappointing we didn't get that, but at least they gave us something here to celebrate 30 years of Quake, which is this new expansion for free. And with 4-player co-op possibilities, I see old Shub there. The original final boss of the original Quake is also returns as well. But I mean, at least they gave us something. I mean, Quake just looks awesome, and you gotta love it. And yeah, I mean, at least they did. They let us walk away with something here. I mean, I know everyone was hoping for something else, but I mean, it's another chance for us to jump back in Quake and do some 4-player co-op, right, Grem? I mean, this is still a good little treat.
It is, and I'm curious on if this kind of will be something later down the road, when it comes to other games that are celebrating milestones like this. I mean, that 30 years of Quake is crazy when you think about it. I love the rocket jump in the video too. Takes me back a little bit, but yeah, it's like you said. I mean, you kind of hit everything pretty much on the head. It has an old school aesthetic. I also wonder too, like, I know that this was like a collab and everything like that, but I can only imagine how much fun the developers and everyone working on this had in order to do something like this, because, you know, this is what got us all into video games for the most part, around in our age group, where, you know, it was games like this and how it felt and how it looked. And, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm glad that they gave you guys some, or even us, I guess, in theory, something. It looks really, really fun. 4-player co-op sounds amazing. Can't wait to really try it and play it. But I'm curious on if other companies might start doing this a little bit more, like going back to their older games and, you know, doing a little fancy update here and there, depending on, you know, how old the game is.
So like the 25-year anniversary of the original Bubsy, they'll add like an extra like 10 maps for free expansion.
Yeah, on Bubsy 3D.
Bubsy 3D regurgitated.
Regurgitated.
Yeah. Azarain, how do you feel about this brand new Quake expansion for free, Dawn of the Machine, 30 years after the original release of the game?
I am super excited. Quake and the spin-off game, Unreal Tournament and things like that were a big part of my childhood before the Halo multiplayers. So just thinking about this, just watching this, is just bringing back all that nostalgia of just getting on and just shooting at people and having a good time, and watching the rocket jump happen on the trailers. Just pure memory and just pure nostalgia for me. And that's exactly what this feels like it was meant to be, is a very good nostalgia piece to bring back Quake. And, maybe this is their way of saying, hey, we've got more Quake in the works.
I hope so, because as I said, a lot of people were clamoring for the remastered of Quake 3 Arena, some kind of remake or something for that, or even Quake 4. There's a lot of people out there waiting for that. There's an audience for it, and I think they know that, and they just maybe wanted to celebrate this being the original Quake's year. I mean, it's a 30-year anniversary. I'm sure they wanted to get this out of the way, get this out there first, just to commemorate it. And with them knowing that all the original id team were going to be in-house at QuakeCon, Romero, both Carmax and Tom Hall, I think this was a special treat for them to come back and be there in person to see Machine Games and id Software of 2026 working on this to expand on their original creation as well. So, all right, up next we have another game called Low Budget Repairs. This is a trailer that was recommended to us by Asterial, and this trailer was uploaded 3 days ago. It is a game on Steam. The synopsis is: manage renovations in 90s apartment blocks. Focus on quick profit and cut costs wherever possible. Client notices defects. Tough luck. The money's already in your pocket. Every day brings new challenges and decisions that can lead to fortune or trouble. All right, let's take a look here at Low Budget Repairs.
Hey, dude, I lost my basement keys. Can you help a buddy out?
Stop! Well, what do we have here? Stealing, huh?
Well, there you go.
What an awesome little radio station.
Fuck, not that one.
Well, I guess that's...
Kid, what the hell did you do? How the hell did you take a grenade launcher for a radio?
A grenade launcher for a radio. Well, this is basically like if you took, what is it, House Flipper and just turned it into kind of a little bit of more of on the meme side. You can obviously repair apartment blocks and houses and stuff. You're fixing things up for people. You're like a handyman. You're repairing electronics. You're painting. You're doing tile work in the bathroom. Hanging up pictures. Looks like you can be as crazy as you want or be as professional as you want. Here, it's obviously not taking itself too seriously. You can drink beer on the job, apparently. There's just all kinds of wackiness going on here. I'm very impressed with the spray paint artwork graffiti on the wall, though. That was very impressive. I bet that person's really good at Mecha Chameleon. But yeah, this is a very wacky and zany take on the whole house flipper repair genre of video games that we've seen all over the place. Kind of up my alley. I don't know if it's a little bit too goofy for me. I like the more grounded kind of professional style genre of jobs, but I would definitely be willing to give this a shot just to see how wacky it gets. It seems like it leaves it up to you whether you want to get crazy with it or stay professional. That I'd have to look a little bit more into, but nevertheless, coming out in, I believe it said August 13th, was it? Is when it's dropping. So only a few days from now, 3 days from now. If I can see where, there it is. Yeah. August 13th. So 3 days as of the recording of this podcast, low budget repairs on Steam. Grem, what are your thoughts on low budget repairs? Is this something that you think you would play, or is it just a little bit too wacky for you?
Oh, no, it's not too wacky for me. At the same time, too, it feels like this is more than just like a fixer-upper in a way. I mean, there's actually like a little story. Like, I mean, heck, you're breaking into someone's basement kind of deal, and you can, muck up a whole electric system, or you could just do it correctly, like you said. This game seems to be, I don't know, it seems more in depth than just your standard, house flipper game where there's events that happen. It feels a little bit more, I don't want to say real, but it doesn't feel like it's just a repair, like house flipper or house repair game. There's more to this. There's more little elements into this game, and I would try it, honestly. I think it, I mean, the goofiness aside, it does look like a lot of fun. Like, you're not entirely sure what's going to happen the next day. I know we like games like Power Wash Sim. You're like, okay, I know what I'm doing next. I know what the next level is going to be and everything. And this one, it's like, no, you let your imagination kind of take over, and you're like, all right, this is the job. All right, this is what I want to do, and we're just going to do it this way. Whether it looks great or whether it looks shoddy, it's totally up to you as the player. And kind of teaches a little bit too on like how electricity works and everything like that, and how to mount a picture and whatnot. And I was kind of surprised. Are you sure that was beer? I thought that was ginger ale that they were drinking.
Oh, maybe it was.
Okay, because I have no idea. That would make more sense. But I mean, I know everyone loves ginger ale, but no, I mean, like like I said, like stealing stuff and all of a sudden like you getting caught and everything like that. But ultimately, again, you let your imagination kind of take over it, and you do what you want to do rather than the game telling you, hey, this is how you have to fix up this house. Instead, it's like, okay, how do I want to fix this up? How do I want it to make it? What do I want it to look like, kind of deal. So it's I feel like it's got a lot of like in-depth gameplay. So I mean, I would definitely be willing to try it.
I'm noticing that they do have objectives in the top right, like buy and apply missing wallpaper, hang 3 nature paintings, fix a broken table, take out the trash, buy a new sofa. So it does give you a little bit of hand-holding there on what you're supposed to do. But in terms of how much that takes over for each job, remains to be seen. Azarain, how do you feel about this? And are you a fan of these kind of like house flipper, house cleaning style games like this in general?
I'm a fan of games where you have some form of creative freedom when it comes to kind of doing this kind of thing. I'm terrible at that creative freedom, but I love having that freedom, so to speak. Right now on Steam, if you're watching this as it comes out, the developer is currently playing the game on Steam, and he's got it so that you actually have to paint it with the brush, and it takes time, whatever, to the point where you're gonna want to cut a few corners here and there, and you're gonna get paid anyways. So it looks like you're actually being just kind of that low budget repairman, and I'm kind of liking it, what I'm seeing. So overall, I might give it a try at least.
Right. Gives you that choice of, do you want to be completely legit, or do you just want to do the absolute bare minimums just to get by through the job?
Both. Both. Absolutely both.
All right. Well,
depending on the job, it might be one of those things where I just, I'm gonna wing it. I'm just gonna do like with the wiring. Yeah, I'm gonna hang it. I'm gonna do a complete diagonal. Why go to all the trouble of laying it down towards the ground and moving it out, keeping the space? Nope, just straight through the wall.
Yeah, it's like that deal, that meme of like drilling the wiring through a door, and then they just drill a hole through the door so it can just open and close with the wire going through it, or going through a cupboard or something like that. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I expect to see from low budget repairs here, coming out in 3 days at the time of this recording. All right, so thanks to Serial for that recommendation there. We're going to move on to our next game. This one is called Big Walk. This one was made by House, and this has been out for a little while now. I think I remember seeing this back on the it was either the Game Awards or Summer Game Fest last year. I remember first seeing this game, but now it is here with an official launch trailer as of last week. So we'll take a look here at Big Walk.
Hi, hello. We're House. We made Untitled Goose Game, and we also made this game we're playing right now. It's called Big Walk, and it just came out today. Hooray! It's a place for friends to have a big adventure that's about finding new ways to talk to each other.
We love all the funny little ways that people find to communicate in online games, and wanted to make a whole game out of doing that. So we made these expressive characters, put them in a big open world, and filled it with challenges that get you talking. With your hands, walkie-talkies, body language, fireworks, megaphones, cowbells, or just yelling. No matter if you're playing with one other person or as part of a big group, the focus of the game is always on the people you're playing with. And we think that's a really special feeling.
We've been working on Big Walk for 6 years now, and we still love playing it together. We hope you will too. And now you can, because Big Walk is out now. Have fun. All right, bye. Bye.
Well, there you go. I couldn't ask for more of a cuter presentation for a game. And coming from the people of Untitled Goose Game, they know all about that niche for sure. Looks like it puts an emphasis on co-op. You and, as they said, one other person or a group of people can work together to solve puzzles to get to where you need to go. The objective in the game, almost kind of like Peak in a way, but without all the climbing. It's more like puzzle solving to advance and get from point A to point B here. This is interesting. At a time when we just talked about Peak doing their final major update, this game has just emerged. I'm almost wondering if that's like timing based there, because I could see this being like the next Peak in a way, just with the aesthetic and the cuteness factor and just how it just appeals to everybody. The way the presentation here is in this trailer, they did it very well to try to include everybody and make it feel very wholesome and a game about teamwork and working together. I think that's a really awesome and a really fun niche for me, and my Croakitoad community as a whole really enjoys these games like this. The synopsis says, take a look at the launch trailer for Big Walk, a co-op adventure exploration game developed by House. Players will explore a vast open world filled with challenges, puzzles, and more to discover with friends through proximity chat. Makes you use of tools, toys, and good old-fashioned gestures to reach the end. Big Walk is available now for PS5, Nintendo Switch 2, and Steam, so not on Xbox. But yeah, this looks really fun. Again, I've known about this game for a while now after seeing it on one of the Game Awards shows, and it's always been looming in the back of my mind when it was going to release, and apparently it has officially released. So definitely looking forward to checking this out and getting my hands on this one and seeing how well we do as a community together playing this game, working together. Grem, what are your thoughts on Big Walk here? Do you think this is going to be, not to say that it's going to be better or anything like that, just like the next kind of peak for the Croakitoad community? Or do you think that this game in general is going to do well at a time where I think a lot of people really enjoy 4-player co-op games where you work together like this? Some people have started calling them, what do they call them? Friend slops or something.
Yeah.
I don't like that term. We talked about this before in another podcast, but I am a fan of these games. I really am a sucker for these kind of like 4-player adventure working together games, and I think this is right up our alley. What say you?
Well, first off, I agree. I don't like the term friendship slop, but again, we talked about that before. I had this game on my radar actually while you were in QuakeCon, and it's funny that you brought this one up. I was like, oh, thank goodness. I had to do a double take too because I have PlayStation Plus, and if you have a PlayStation 5 and you have PlayStation Plus, you can actually get this game for free. You don't even need to buy it. It just came out, and I was like blown away by that. I was like, they can't be the same game, but it is. On top of that, it does support crossplay for PC, Mac, PS5, and Nintendo Switch 2. There is no matchmaking when it comes to this, so there's no public, rooms. The game is designed for 2 to 12 players who already know each other, and basically you can go right into the game. As for the gameplay itself, man, it's so neat because it's more of a relaxing game. I know our community has kind of gotten into like the whole like peak and pratfall where we feel like we're against the clock to try to get down there as quickly as we're up, depending on which game, as quickly as you can, try to finish it and all that. Whereas this game feels like, this could be just about the same amount of hours as those games, but we're taking our time. It looks beautiful. I love the outdoor stuff, and I think once you probably get into the game, you'll feel like, hey, I'm just playing the game. It's the people or the how goofy they look isn't really going to matter. It's what's around you. It's getting stuff done together as a team and communicating. And I even said it too. Communication is always key, no matter what you're doing. So for a game like this to kind of come out and kind of stress like how games used to be, where it's people that you knew and you just connected together and you just played a game together, and that was it. Like, this kind of feels more nostalgia than it should be, but it looks beautiful and amazing. Like I said, I love the outdoor stuff, so I'm hooked.
I really like this scene where they're just sitting on the beach at the sunset and just sitting there just talking about whatever.
And sometimes like we don't do that in video games, right? We don't just sit down and kind of look at something. We're always trying to get to the end goal, where in this game it looks like, you can just have it. There's no time limit to this game. Just have fun, look around, enjoy the aesthetics, and just have fun.
Mm-hmm. Azarine, how do you feel about Big Walk? Is this something that you think might be the next peak for gamers?
The next peak? No, it's going to be something different, in my opinion. We may even take it as far as like a VR chat style thing where everyone just kind of gets a character and they kind of roam around. They have a good time. They chit chat. And again, they have a good time. This is developed by House. Again, Untitled Goose Game. Mega phenomenon. Everyone loves the goose. So there's going to be jokes. There's going to be all sorts of different things inside things that you find. It's going to be a good time. I am going to go ahead and tangent just a little bit here off of that little topic there to mention that Big Walk is in a bundle right now with Peak on the Steam store.
Wow. I'll have to definitely jump in on that and see.
Dang, you called it too. You're like, Peak's ending. This game comes out,
Yeah.
and then they bundle it.
How
That's
crazy is that?
insane.
Yeah, that's wild. It's almost like they knew. They planned it all out in advance.
Yeah.
I guess, that's indie game developers work more together than people actually realize to try to help each other out.
And that's a good thing. I mean, that's not a bad thing. That is a really good thing.
I realized this last, not to go off into the weeds or anything, but I realized this past weekend at QuakeCon when there was a booth set up for Unhappening there, but that was their booth, but another booth. But another developing team, the developer and the publisher were there for another game called Brazilian Drug Dealer, which there's 1, 2, 3, and he was showcasing his 4th game. Which, by the way, shout out to those guys. Those are two guys were super chill and super cool. I can't wait to play his games. Me and Wizard Boz spent like an hour and a half talking with him on Saturday. Such a chill, super cool dude. So shout out to you, the dev team behind Brazilian Drug Dealer. So awesome conversation. But yeah, that just kind of goes to show the behind the scenes when indie developings and studios work together. Like this booth was set up for this game. They had it reserved for this game at QuakeCon, but they allowed this other team to come in there and sit with them at their booth and have a laptop on their table to showcase his game too. I think that this is the same thing here between House and the Peak devs. The words slip on the tip of my tongue. Can't remember.
It's Aggro Crab,
yes. Landfall. Yeah. Yep. That with House and them probably working together here to plan this all out to kind of passing of the torch in a way, maybe not exactly, but in a way from Peak over to Big Walk to like get the rub, as they say in wrestling, in a way. All right, but definitely I will be looking at this. Maybe we can tag Big Walk on this week at some point with the Peak update and try it out in the Croakitoad community here for some content on Twitch and YouTube. Looking forward to this. Hopefully a lot of people get this. You said someone mentioned up to 12. That's super awesome. I hope we get a party of 12. That would be super awesome to run around and play on this. All right, moving on to our little early there, E1M1. Okay, so moving on to our next game for the gaming block. We've got the Evercade Doom Collection, and this was actually showcased at QuakeCon over the weekend. I saw it there in their own little booth. Very cool. They had actually advertised this as well. Marty Stratton and Hugo Martin also talked about this with the Quake 30 years thing. But we'll take a look at this trailer real quick and see how they're going to celebrate Doom as well this year. So this is really interesting at a time when everyone's just basically saying physical media is dead. You know, physical media is going to be dead in the next 2 years for sure. They come out with this. Evercade comes out with this. It's just a Doom super pack. It contains Doom, Doom 2, Plutonian Experiment, TNT Evolution, No Rest for the Living, both of John Romero's WAD, Sigil, and Sigil 2. And it comes in a little cartridge. You plug it into your little handheld device, but it's also compatible with all of the Evercade consoles as well. So it's like one cartridge fits all platforms from Evercade. I'm trying to right here, compatible with all Evercade systems, which one's like a handheld, like almost looks like a game. What do you call the Sega handheld? What were those called?
Game Gear.
Game Gear. One looks like kind of like a Game Gear. One looks like a miniature Game Boy. One's on a freaking like a almost like a miniature arcade cabinet. The other one's on like a Japanese looking Famicom or something. But I really like the idea, if this is what it actually is that one, you buy this cartridge and it fits into every one of these. That's really cool. I really like that idea. I know the way they didn't do that back in the day because of the capabilities of different platforms and hardware and stuff. And probably also they wanted consumers to buy, the different game for the different platforms for more profit. But in a day and age where, as I said, physical media is basically like, thought of as being dead. I think it's a cool idea to have one cartridge fit all available platforms. I think this is really cool. I don't know if I'm going to see a lot of people like running around with this when you could just get Doom on your phone or whatever. But for the sake of having like a talking piece in your gaming room or having some friends over to just chill out and play some old school Doom, I think this is a really nifty idea. Again, I saw this at the booth at QuakeCon. I was really intrigued by this and really thought it was really awesome. As we know from a few podcasts ago, I'm a huge proponent of keeping physical game media. I don't want it to die off. I was trying to find ways to advance it through what was it? What was it I suggested? Like external hard drive, miniature external hard drives or thumb drives or something, instead of getting off of discs, like discs we've had since 1996. Why have we never moved away from discs on video games and moved on to like external hard drives or thumb drives for our games instead? And that just never has happened. Some people said it's probably just the money. They couldn't afford moving games onto drives like that. But neither here nor there. I'm a super huge fan of this. I love Doom, and I love the fact that there's more physical media being put out there, because who's going to stop them from doing this? I think there's still a market for people that want physical media for awesome games like Doom that are just legendary and timeless. And to add something like this into your gaming library or your gaming room would just look absolutely awesome. But the synopsis here real quick just says, Evercade Nexus Doom Edition, exclusive design, exclusive packaging, exclusive collectibles. It's limited to only 3,000 units, and pre-orders open at the August 7th through Fun Stock. So that was this past Friday during QuakeCon. And yeah, the top comments already are really positive for this. They did drop the prices for this, which I did see right here. Looks like it will be $250, but you get the handheld Doom Nexus console. You get a Doom comic book. You get the carry case with it. You get certificate of authenticity, a key ring, the Doom collection cartridge, and a double-sided poster for $250. So if you want your Doom on the go and you don't want to play it on your phone, obviously there's many ways to play Doom. But if you want like the more current, probably the most current way to do it, and it comes with all these different things like Doom 1, Doom 2, Master Levels for Doom, Evolution, Plutonia, No Rest for the Living, Sigil 2, Doom Deathmatch Pack. This also has the availability for 1 to 4 verses. So you can link up with your friends and play verses on this thing. And they also have the Duke Nukem. They have Duke Nukem and Tomb Raider for Evercade as well. Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 for the Evercade as well. So I think that's really cool. It just brings me back to a simpler time for all of us as gamers. I'm loving that they're keeping this going. Grem, what do you think about this? Do you think that it's great that some companies like this are trying to keep physical media alive when all the big boys are saying, yeah, we're done. In 2 years, you're not going to see anything left from us? And do you think Doom is a good one to hold out, even though you can play it literally on your microwave?
Actually, I was going to say I've been playing mine on my calculator. Thank you very much. But yeah, I got to be fancy. The problem, the great thing, and the problem is obviously this game is an older game, so it you can get away with it being on like a physical cartridge and everything. I do like the fact that, again, you can put it on any console. If it's no matter, because that was always the issue back in the day too, right? Like we had to get a special adapter for our Game Boy Color games to play on the SNES, stuff like that. Where now that shouldn't be an issue anymore. And I know you touched on it too with like CDs and everything, but like shouldn't the same CD just work in a different, PlayStation, for example, or Xbox? And that, the companies themselves made it more difficult for themselves by changing it up like that. But again, at the same time too, they want you to spend more money and everything. So it all kind of works around one way or another, where it's like, well, physical media is the kind of the hot topic button, and this helps. I don't know if it will be enough, but if you start seeing more games, or games like this start getting developed and the sales are there, maybe that's the wake up call. Maybe that's like, okay, maybe we need to kind of come up with something different instead of just abolishing it completely. But again, you have to get behind it. I know a lot of people are like, well, we did petitions and everything. It's like, yeah, but companies don't care about that kind of stuff. Companies care about what? Money. And if this breaks in a good amount, and Evercade's doing really, really well just by this alone, that could be the step to kind of get these big businesses to be like, hey, maybe we need to kind of step back just a moment on this and kind of figure something different out. Because obviously there is a market for it. So it will be really interesting to see on how well this does, and kind of keeping an eye on it. And if there's any other games that come out as well.
Real quick before we go to Azarine, I was really curious to see, because it's $250 for the entire collection. I'm checking here now to see if you just wanted the game. Oh. Okay, so just for the cartridge for Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3, it doesn't include all the extras or the cartridge or the carry case or the comic or all that crap. It's just, I want the cartridge, I want the 3 Tomb Raider games. $25 for a physical game in a case on a cartridge that goes to every Evercade compatible device you have. $25.
The box looks very much like the Sega Genesis boxes.
Yeah.
When they came out too. I just noticed that.
Peggy 16.
Nope, we got Peggy 16 here. I was just
I
was just taking a look at the Tomb Raider trailer here as well. Oh, look at that. They're really trying to. So $100 for the handheld there with the Tomb Raider collection. For the handheld mobile device, looks like a Switch 2 a little bit, and then or a Nintendo Switch, and then the other one's like a traditional console, also for $100. Both are for $100 with the Tomb Raider pack, and then if you just want the Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3, it's $25.
And kudos to them. This is exactly what you needed to do. To open their eyes and realize, like I said, because all they speak is money. So if this does really, really well, it could make them take a couple of steps back and try to rethink this whole not physical copy thing anymore.
I think this is an awesome idea. But like you, I'm interested to see what capabilities they would have in having the cartridges like this. Maybe they only went into this just with the focal point of going back onto these old retro games like this. They're not going to try to put, GTA 6 out on this. You know what I mean?
Like GTA 5, yeah.
Yeah. They're just going to focus on the older games. But yeah, I still think this is an awesome idea. Valiant effort on the part of Evercade. I was a little worried because the $250 is a little steep. But when I went back and checked and saw it was only $25 for a cartridge containing 3 classic games like that, that's a little bit more reasonable. And it tells me that they're not just doing this to try to rake the pocketbooks of everybody. The $250 is just for everything here. And I think that's a reasonable price for more like a collector's edition if you're a huge fan of Doom like this. Azarine, how do you feel about the entire topic of physical media? Do you think Evercade is doing something good here? Valiant being the white knight in 2026, trying to preserve that. And do you think the pricing here on what we've just discovered is just right? Or do you think it's just far too late for this kind of thing?
Okay. I'm going to be the controversial one here, and I'm going to say hashtag stop killing games, because I believe that everything needs to be kept, whatever, and that includes physical media. So I love that Evercade is doing this. I wish more companies would keep that, because people are collectors. People want to experience it on the old hardware, and they can't do that if that stuff's no longer available in 20, 30 years. You want to play GoldenEye 007 on the old N64, but there's none around except in collector cases, which are $20,000 or whatever. I like the idea of this. I do absolutely think they're doing something great here. I will personally be playing my Doom on my pregnancy tester.
Dang, man, if I had one, maybe I would too.
Just don't test positive.
Overall, though, I did go to the Evercade thing and see where I can buy stuff, and went on, and that directed me to Amazon and their collection there, which includes a Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie set for $199.99 for the handheld console with the screen, and both of those games. That's a huge deal. The Doom collection is $30. You've got the Tomb Raider collection, Neo Geo games. That's huge. The Duke Nukem set, the Turrican set, Taito arcades. If you're a fan of Bubble Bobble or Bust-A-Move, those are popular games for, shooting the bubble things. Anyways, they've got all of these games that are retro in cartridge form available for purchase on Amazon. I think it's awesome. One that just stood out to me that as I was scrolling, as I was about to close out, the Legacy of Kain Part 1 set of Legacy of Kain Blood Omen and Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. Those were two very popular games with me back in the day as well. So I love it. I want more of this.
Just the fact that they were able to squeeze Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 on a single cartridge, and then you said also the Legacy Kain, both of which were also on the PS1 as well. That just goes to show me that they are taking CD games on original PS1 discs and sticking them inside these cartridges like this. So that tells me that the capabilities could be kind of endless. You look at a cartridge and you're like, they can only do like SNES capabilities. Well, no, that's actually not the case with today's 2026 technology.
Overall, it's just media. That's what the disc was. Is the disc had more space for more media, and now that SD cartridges and that type of hardware form of memory is so much better, they can even make it more compact, and so therefore you can get your N64, your PS1 games. I bet you could probably get early PS2 games on the Evercade here.
I wouldn't doubt it. I would love to see them do a Resident Evil collection, like all the original Resident Evils. I would certainly be very, 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 very interested in getting that. And then once I got that and got the Resident Evil Evercade handheld, then I'd be like, yep, I'm getting the Doom collection as well, because I could just stick that cartridge right in there. It'd almost essentially be like walking around with a Switch, with a Nintendo Switch or a Nintendo Switch 2, really. But you just don't get any of the Nintendo stuff. So I don't know. If you're already invested in a Nintendo Switch, then you're looking at this and you're like, I've already got all this on the Switch. But if you don't have a Switch, then you're like, yeah, okay, I can get behind this. So I guess it's like just where you stand right now as a gamer, really. But all right, that'll cover us on the Evercade Doom. It was actually a pleasure to see that in person at QuakeCon. We're going to move over to our next game, which is Overwatch. Overwatch has made it to the news once again. I heard about there being a new hero being dropped called D-Mon. And so they released that over the weekend while I was... Actually, this trailer is literally from today. But I guess the news broke out about this over the weekend while I was at QuakeCon. But we're going to take a look at Overwatch, another game that I forgot to mention as one of our go-to games, and was kind of like the game before Phasmophobia. It was between Left 4 Dead and Phasmophobia, it was all Overwatch. And then Phasmo came out and kind of took the crown from Overwatch because they were very indecisive on what they wanted to do with Overwatch for the longest of times. But I don't know. The last time we played it together, I really had a blast playing it. I don't know why we don't play it more. It just, there's always another game to play. But I really would like to just try to spend some time playing Overwatch. The problem is we've been out of, at least I've been out of it for so long. There's so many new heroes. I don't even know their names. I don't know what their abilities are. And the game is just so massive now that I just remember the times when there was 15, 12 heroes. And that was it. And it was such simpler times. And you knew what everyone was capable of doing. And now it's like the roster has doubled in size and there's more to come. And it's just hard to try to figure out everything when you're just coming back into it after several years. But nevertheless, here is official Season 4 Heroes of Busan trailer introducing the newest hero to the Overwatch roster.
Today is a new day, Busan. Our enemies have been defeated. When it's game time, Mecha Squad will protect our city.
Baby, I'm a boss, come with me, I need company.
These Thunder Sweats can't compete.
A good speed run is all in the execution.
The squad isn't slowing down, so show up and show out.
Armies form. By your successes, you are bound.
Right here, right now, right here, right now, right here, right now, right here, right now. One more. Na clap it down. Rock out the spin it round.
Give yourself to the rhythm.
No stop,
design at work.
Harmony is found in light and shadow.
And remember, Busan, we've got your back.
All right, well, that comes out tomorrow, August 11th, the brand new hero called Demon. So people were telling me that it's kind of like a diva kind of look, and it is a person inside of like a mecha suit here, but can pop out with a Gatling gun, looks like. Yet another, possibly a tank, I would say, would be the safest bet to say on this one. But yeah, as I said before, watching this trailer, there's just so much in Overwatch now that if you just haven't played for a couple years, you're going to be completely lost. It's going to take you like a week to get reoriented to all the new things that they've added throughout the years. And you know what? If you're an Overwatch player listening right now and you've stuck with it over the years and you've been consistent, good for you. Because you know how the game works. You know all the heroes. You know all the ins and outs and the metas and everything. And that's great. But if you have taken a few years away from Overwatch, like most of us have in the Croakitoad community, it will take you over a week. Oh, I love the frogs there, by the way. It will take you over a week to get reacquainted with this game because it is not the Overwatch that I remember for sure. But it was still pretty fun, even if I was confused a lot of the time as to what characters were killing me. and what a lot of the characters even do. Because I'm a Zenyatta main, and that's where I am, and I don't mind going out and trying different things, but it's really overwhelming when you play the game and there's so many new heroes there. You have no idea even who they even are. But we have to kind of give it a little bit of credit, Grem, because at least they are bringing out additional content. It's not like it's a dead game. It's not like they're letting it go stale. They're constantly putting out new content. So in a way, you have to give them a little bit of credit for this.
100% agree. And honestly, maybe now might be the time if you haven't been playing Overwatch in a while. Maybe now is the time. Sure, there might be some players that have the leg up on you, but at the same time too, they do have a practice mode where you can kind of see what everyone does in terms of like their skills and what they do, what they don't do. And maybe now is the time. Either today or maybe when this comes out, which is tomorrow, August 11th, would be the time to potentially go in and just kind of go, okay, I'm just gonna try to focus and figure it all out. I do like the mecha story with this. They went all out, it looks like, on this big patch here. Huge fan of Demon because I feel like you said, tank, and I would love that because it almost, as a Reinhardt main at times, I would like be charging in and everything. It looks like you can charge in. You have this big sword, which I love, and when you're out of your mech, you can still do some damage. I don't know how though you're gonna really do much. Like, it's almost like D.Va in a way too. When she's out of her mech, you're kind of like, well, I'm in the back line now and just kind of trying to get my mech back, kind of deal. The battle pass is something unique too because they're letting you choose your own path. Fortnite, I believe, tried this either it was the last one or the following one before that, where you can choose which way you want to go, and I believe it got some negative feedback on that. They like the fact that, hey, I want to kind of just have a path, basically. Just let me follow a path, and it gives me to work something rather than, oh, you know what, I just want these three, and then that's it. I hope that this doesn't happen with Overwatch when you can choose your own path. I do like the fact that you can choose your own rewards and swap them out. I think that's a pretty unique and a really good idea, because again, if you're a main on something and you just want that one skin, then you're like, okay, well, I'll work for the other ones, but I really want this one. You can swap it out, buy it, or purchase it, whatever. The mythic skin for Genji looks sick. I'm a sucker for like cosmic things like that, where like it looks like stars and outer space stuff, so it looks amazing. Hopefully the music doesn't DMC us, or Spotify doesn't hate us for the music. I don't think they did. I don't think it will, but you never know, right, when it comes to Spotify. But again, I feel like the time might be now. You're gonna have to do it eventually. Another game this reminds me of is like League of Legends. But back in the day, like League of Legends had like maybe 30, 40 characters. Now they must be like pushing near 100. Don't quote me on that. I don't know the actual number. But again, that's a game that's been around for a long time. And you're like, oh my gosh, another hero or champion. I don't know what they do. I already have to memorize like 50 plus other ones. Like, can it just be simple? But I do like the fact that you get to also, you're just showing it too with like the mecha pilots. You can kind of get a glimpse of their story. This D.Va was part of like a 5-man mecha crew, as you can tell, and they don't really tell the story too much of them. So now you kind of get to actually kind of follow through a little bit with it. So that'd be kind of neat, especially being a mecha kind of fan. I do like that a lot. So, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I'm actually probably going to update this. I know Blizzard again just grabs me by the neck and just says, "Here, we're going this way," and I'm like, "Yes, please." So, but yeah, I'm definitely going to hop into this probably this week, and I'm just going to bite the bullet and just be like, "All right, let's learn, let's figure it all out." I do like the map rework though. You just saw it too of Pariso. That definitely needed to be reworked. That you have like too much of a chokehold in the beginning, and even somewhat in the middle. So I'm hoping that rework will kind of get rid of that. But again, I'm probably going to try it. I'll be honest. Not knowing what to do and what everyone does, it's like whatever. I'm just going to try to go out there and have fun.
Yeah, I think Overwatch is on the menu this week. Big Walk, Peak, Overwatch. We're already getting it stacked multiplayer for the rest of this week. Just with all the new stuff coming
up. We might have to think of something maybe once a month we designate a night of just Overwatch, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that could just work where it's just one night a month where we kind of are still in the loop kind of deal. I don't know. We'll have to kind of brainstorm on that.
You almost need that once a week to just get caught up on everything that's already been put out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can expect some Overwatch new content coming from Croakitoad this week for sure. We'll dive back into this, especially with this new update, and check it all out. So keep your eyes peeled on the Twitch live stream and the YouTube live stream for some Overwatch content coming out this week. Okay, that'll conclude our gaming block. We're going to go straight into sports now. We have NASCAR at first. We did have the race yesterday, Iowa Speedway. And it was Ty Gibbs coming in first. And I was just looking to see where... Oh, my goodness. Where is he? Oh, he's out. Tyler Reddick, DNF on Iowa yesterday. Wow. Talk about how you start off a season, just nothing can go wrong for you. And just this latter half... Just wow, what a complete difference for Tyler Reddick from where we started and where we've ended up. It's a good thing he got all those races in the bag early on, because man, if he didn't, he would not be looking too good right now. Probably middle of the pack at best. But Ty Gibbs coming in first here, the fastest lap, the best lap going to Christopher Bell came in second, Ryan Blaney third, Josh Berry fourth, Denny Hamlin coming in fifth place there in Iowa. And as of right now, the standings looking like Denny Hamlin has taken the first place spot. I mean, Tyler Reddick is still clinched, so he's nothing to worry about. So maybe he's just easing off a little bit, knowing that he has nothing left to prove. He's already in there. But man, I don't know. I'd still be at least gunning hard, despite that. But you have Ty Gibbs in there and Ryan Blaney, who are also clinched for the Cup. Right now, Chase Briscoe in fifth, who gains 2 spots. Christopher Bell moves up 4 spots into the 6th rank. You've got Chase Elliott in there, Carson Hocevar, Chris Boucher, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Daniel Suarez, Joey Logano, Bubba Wallace, SVG, and Austin Cindric currently in the top 16 spot with Ryan Preece and Ross Chastain, who jumped up 3 spots, getting close to that bubble spot in that top 16 after Iowa. And we do have... we have 3 races left, I believe. Yes, we do. With in 5 days from now, we've got the Cookout 400 over in Richmond going down right next to Hype, where Hype lives over there. Then we have New Hampshire Motor Speedway coming up August 23rd. And the last one to qualify, Daytona, the Coke Soda Can Zero Sugar 400, August 29th, the end of August. We have the end of this month to figure out who our top 16 is. After looking at what happened in Iowa, Grem, do you have any thoughts or prayers for anyone?
Prayers would be probably a good one. Yeah, Tyler Reddick only completed 3 laps. Eric Jones was another one. We talked about him last week. He only completed 4 laps, and we were talking about him being in 18th and potentially trying to climb. It's now in that 18th spot is Ross Chastain, who's kind of trying to climb in to get into that 16th spot. Another big winner was Christopher Bell. He's been charging up as of late. He's sitting 6th right now in the points. He moved up 4 spots as well. Had a really great showing. Obviously, he finished 2nd. Yeah, Tyler Reddick, I mean, sure, you can ease up, but, again, he's not completely set. It's just, I mean, with the points and I guess it means that he is set, but you never know. You just never know. But you don't want to kind of go into the championship in a downward spiral with only 3 races to go, basically. But I mean, we'll see. Like I said, SVG is still hanging on that 15th spot. Bubba Wallace is in 14th, and again, like Ross Chastain, kind of climbing up there as well. And he's going to try to get into that 16 spot. He had a top 10 finish, obviously finishing in 7th. You talked about William Byron as well. I believe he was a big mover in the standings, if I'm not mistaken.
He went up one.
He went up one, but again, I mean that you get further away from that 16 slot, you feel a little bit better. You feel a little bit more comfortable about where you're at heading into the playoffs, basically. So kind of crazy that we're getting down to the final 3 races before the championship push when it comes to these guys. If it was to end right now, like, and this was our 16, you know, it's hard to say that, you know, Denny Hamlin, it would be Denny Hamlin's championship to lose. But it could happen. Like guys like Ty Gibbs has been hot. Christopher Bell has been really hot. And you never know what could happen in these races. Ryan Blaney has been very consistent in the past couple of races. So I wouldn't say Denny Hamlin would win it, but I mean he's been just as consistent, if not, I mean maybe just a little under Blaney for the past couple of races. But yeah, I would pick Denny Hamlin right now probably to win it. If it was to end right now, this would be our top 16 and kind of go from there. And I would think that would probably be, you know, Denny Hamlin 1, Ryan Blaney might finish 2nd, and then I'd probably put in Christopher Bell at 3, Ty Gibbs would be at 4. And then just to round it out, I'd probably have Chase Briscoe at 5, just to finish up the top 5 of the if it was to end now. But again, we have 3 more races. There could be more people in terms of you know, people on the outside looking in, like I was alluding to, Ross Chastain. You know, Austin Cedric might get knocked out. You know, Ryan Pierce might actually, you know, maybe make it in. Joey Logano might turn up the heat because he's a veteran. He knows how this works. Chase Elliott would be another veteran. So, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see on these last three races on who's in and who's out. And then also, did you want the baseball thing or no? And we're doing this on the fly.
Oh, we'll do it next week.
Okay, we'll do it next week.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I also want to let everyone know too that you know, we haven't forgotten about college football. That season will be starting here on August 27th at week 0. So I know everyone's kind of chopping at the bit for football. I know our fantasy football league got kicked up. So football is on the way, everyone. So we will have more sports to talk about later down the road.
Oh yeah, football season is almost here. Pro and college coming around the corner.
It's crazy.
All right. Yeah, we'll take a look at the next race on next week's podcast and see how everything does as we're nearing the last 3 races of the regular season, and then we start the chase. So we'll see who wins out next Saturday, which will be a Saturday race, by the way. So we'll be able to cover it in its completion on the next episode of the podcast over in Richmond. All right. That being said, we're going to move over to WWE news, and we just have just one thing to really talk about here, and that is, we'll kind of skim this as well. I just noticed the Survivor Series War Games is coming to Houston Saturday, November 28th. So just want to throw that out there, just out of nowhere. But
do I need to say the line?
Oh.
Do I?
Backlash.
No, not Backlash. It's close, though. It's William Regal going, War Games.
No, I'm waiting for Danhausen to do it. War Games.
Well, okay. Danhausen, you're welcome for the idea. Please do it.
Yes. We're going to be at War Games.
War Games. Survivor Series.
Yeah.
War Games.
Yeah, someone's going to get cussed. Well, we do have a World Heavyweight Championship #1 contenderships tournament happening. As it's probably... No, Raw isn't on right now. It'll be starting up here in a few hours when Monday Night Raw kicks on. It starts tonight with Penta taking on Laredo Kid. This is for a chance for someone from AAA, a Luchador, to meet Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw from Mexico City. And they revealed this a few days ago. Tonight's first match in the tournament to fight Roman Reigns for the title is going to be Penta versus Laredo Kid. As I said, that is tonight on Raw. We also have Psycho Clown taking on La Parka. We've got Dragon Lee taking on Dr. Wagner Jr. And then, of course, Rey Fenix taking on El Fiscal. And we have those matches taking place all across, scattered around the next week or so. We have Psycho Clown taking on La Parka at the AAA show in 5 days. And then next week's Raw will feature the other two matches, Dragon Lee and Dr. Wagner Jr., and then Rey Fenix and El Fiscal. And then the second round will both matches will take place on the August 24th episode of Monday Night Raw. So they're actually taking so the next three, actually tournament final. Oh, okay. So the next 5 Raws will feature this entire tournament, from the starting match, the one and only starting match tonight, all the way to the winner facing Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight title. The next 5 Raws will see this tournament to its completion. I think this is a really cool idea. I like how it's integrating AAA. You never really see in my time of watching wrestling, you never saw this. But obviously, you know, the partnership with WWE and AEW, or not AEW, AAA is now there. So they're able to do stuff like this and integrate both companies and kind of bring a little bit of spotlight to AAA, to the American audience on Monday Night Raw. And then the fact that Raw will be taking place from Mexico City is a really neat touch. And it gives one of these guys a huge opportunity to face Roman Reigns. Now, whether or not they actually win or not, I don't know. I mean, they're already advertising Roman Reigns for the main banner of Survivor Series in November, at the end of November. So granted, he doesn't have a title in the picture. It's just him standing next to a cage. But nevertheless, to see one of these guys walk out with the World Heavyweight title, I mean, we kind of covered Penta a little bit, and he lost that belt. And so now he's moved on to this now. So, I mean, that could be a possibility. Out of all of these guys, I feel like Penta probably has the better chance of going all the way to meet Roman Reigns. You probably agree with that after our thoughts from last week's podcast with, Penta losing his belt to, I believe it was Chad Gable, the IC belt. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think any of these guys really stand a chance, or is this just more something to kind of like spread some light and give some promotion to AAA, to the American audience, and give some of these guys, some spotlight on Monday Night Raw?
I know I like this idea a lot. I think this is going to be a huge win. I know WWE loves like the Mexican fan base, so to have a live show on Raw in Mexico City where Roman Reigns is defending the championship against, a luchador, if you will, is huge. That's big. It's mind-blowing that it's happening, but it's amazing that it's happening. This is like something that we all kind of dream of when we're like playing, the WWE games and downloading CAWs and everything.
Honestly, it's almost like watching WCW Nitro back in the day and hoping that one of these episodes you get to see Psychosis or Juventud or La Parka go up against Hollywood Hogan or DDP or the Giant or Ric Flair for the title. And they did. Yes. They gave opportunities to like Rey Mysterio. I know Rey Mysterio took on Ric Flair for a world title match on an episode of Monday Night Raw once from the beach, whatever that beach place in Florida that was on that one episode. But this kind of makes me reminds me of that a little bit, where give some of these other guys a chance that are like billed as like cruiserweights or luchadors and stuff that usually open up the show and ooh and awe the crowd. And I think that's a really cool, that kind of appeals to me in a 90s WCW sense a little bit.
Yeah, it reminds me of the ECW No Way Out pay-per-view from WWE, right? Where the main event was John Cena defending his title against Rob Van Dam. And how electric that felt and how much of a home field advantage Rob Van Dam had. And, ultimately winning. So I think if you pull something like that and kind of promote it potentially that could actually happen here in Mexico City. I think you get a lot of buzz on that. But when you're looking at the cast of characters and people that are actually in the match, I know you kind of mentioned it, and I do think that Penta will win this ultimately. However, I do feel like the person that Penta will have to beat is Ray Phoenix, his brother, basically. And that's going to be kind of a heartstring kind of match. And that's what you want, basically, on, the Raw episode, the tournament final, before heading into this. And I do like, too, because, again, the match, the winner will take on Roman Reigns on September 14th. There is a week in between that. And I absolutely like that, only for the fact that they could potentially push this. Instead of just going like, all right, you won the tournament next week.
Is there a week between the...
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So August 31st is the tournament final, and then Raw September 14th will be the winner versus Roman Reigns. So there's a week in between where, you can tell a story, or at least, get an altercation, instead of just like, all right, well, here you go, Penta, or here you go, kid, have fun, just good luck against Roman Reigns. At least make it believable, and that you could do that. You could do it in a one night thing. Let's say it's Penta, for example. Penta standing tall, he grabs the title, and Roman's on the outside, like, adjusting his jaw like he usually will do, or kind of like pander, going, hey, that's my title, kind of deal. And how you have Penta just amping up the crowd, or whoever's going to win the tournament. You know what I mean? I think that would be huge going into that, and then into Mexico City, and then all of a sudden you have people talking. You're like, well, maybe this could happen. But I don't see anyone but Penta potentially winning this. I think La Parka will win. So I think it'll be Penta versus La Parka. I think Dragon Lee and Ray Phoenix are probably going to win. I think they might go the safer route, especially with like a person that they know, like Dragon Lee's been on Raw for a while. And then Ray Phoenix as well. They're not really doing much with him. And then I think Ray Phoenix will beat Dragon Lee. Penta will obviously beat La Parka. And then from there, you'd have Penta versus Ray Phoenix. That's how I envision the tournament going. I mean, they could easily throw a curveball or two, like El Fisco beating Ray Phoenix, which I would be surprised and shocked. But I mean, again, sometimes that's what you want in a tournament. You want that underdog to potentially win. You never know what you got when it comes to an underdog winning, if the crowd gets behind them or not. So I'm 100% for this. I'm very, very intrigued. I'm excited too, because we probably will be talking about this next week, about the Penta match and Penta and Luchador Kid, and then Psycho Clown versus La Parka. We will be talking about those matches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very sure we will now, because I'm intrigued. I want to see how this plays out.
I think more than anything, it'll be because the Psycho Clown and La Parka match is going to be taking place on AAA. But the Dragon Lee and Dr. Wagner match is going to be on Raw, same with Ray Phoenix and El Fiscal. And I don't think, I mean, obviously I haven't been watching, but I don't think Dr. Wagner or El Fiscal has ever appeared on Raw yet.
I mean, maybe in like a 6-man tag, but I don't think so, honestly.
So that would be really cool. I mean, that's a huge moment for both of those guys, if that's the case, for them to show up on Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
And honestly, I'm aware of Dr. Wagner, the veteran, the classic Dr. Wagner. I'm kind of pulling for him to win over Dragon Lee. So,
I mean, like I said, you got to have a surprise in the whole in a tournament. I mean, that just makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, you could, and then all of a sudden maybe Dragon Lee turns heel at that point because he's mad that he got upstaged. That could definitely happen. So you got to remember too, you could do some storylines with this as well, and try to get something out of a tournament like this. That's the whole point of a tournament too. Like, you got to see where everyone is at and what's going to work and what could work.
Right. Yep. All right. Well, we'll definitely keep our eyes on it. As you said, we probably won't be able to. No, we won't, because that'll be Monday. But we'll be able to talk about the first two matches at least on next week's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Laredo Kid beats Penta, then we'll both know. Oh, okay then. They're going a different direction. All right. But that being said, we're going to move on to the news around Croakitoad, and really there was not any streams this past week for Croakitoad other than me being at QuakeCon, and we kind of covered that before in the Bring Your Own News. So other than just doing some multiplayer, I beat Doom, Ultimate Doom, episode 1 on Ultra Violent. I did a run of Resident Evil for the first time ever on the Steam version, completed that. Then we just did a bunch of multiplayer, and I played a lot of really fun indie games as well. I did like an indie game demo block at QuakeCon and just had a fun time experiencing the event itself. That was really the only streams this week, other than the CPW show that we had on Tuesday, and that's what we're going to get into right here. And we'll kick things off. Oh yeah, we can also bring up the very amazing, trusty, dusty CPW webpage as a reflection as to what happened last Tuesday as well.
Yes, we can.
And see those highs and lows.
And you listeners can also do that too.
Yes, you can follow along. And what do you know? Look at this. The title rankings have expanded to 7.
Hey, let's go.
Wow.
7.
Not 6, 7. Our first match on the August 4th episode of Croakitoad Pro Wrestling. This is the fallout from Scars and Stripes, the big PLE event that took place in July. We had Monica Wake defeating Disco Bunny and singles action, 3.5 match star rating. This was a match that had a lot to do with the Young Lions and really the women's division as well, but more so the Young Lions division. Monica Wake is currently on a 4-1 record. Disco Bunny taking that loss puts her down to 6-4, which took her down the rankings a little bit into the 4th spot now for the Young Lions title. But Monica Wake looking pretty good here for Deputy Dog's Young Lions Championship at a 4-1 record, 80% win rate. And also over in the women's rankings, that pushes her up to the number 3 spot for Celestia. So that was a big win. It could have been a big win for either one of these ladies to kick off the show, but Monica Wake getting a win there was really impressive for her to keep her going and moving up the ranks. After that, we saw Maggie Moore defeating Puppy in a 4-star matchup. This was a really fun match. It was very much, speaking of Lucha from Monday Night Raw in the World Heavyweight title, this match was really a part of the Cruiserweight division. Maggie Moore and Puppy were both, I believe, 5 and 6 in the Cruiserweight division. And Maggie getting a win puts her record to 7 and 6. Not the most impressive record in the world, but with her win over Puppy, that kind of helped solidify her a little bit more. There was no change in her record. It was more Puppy losing his spot, which allowed Rasher and Whiskers to actually move up into the bottom end of the Cruiserweight title. So I think if Maggie gets one more win, she could overcome Skippy the Scout in that number 4 spot. We'll have to keep an eye on it. There was no movement there with her win, but it definitely helps. And it really was worse for Puppy than it was better for Maggie, really. After that, our third match of the night was Darla Quinton defeating Lady Lavin, 4-star matchup. This was a big match also in the women's division. We know Lady Lavin had that amazing, valiant effort in that 3-on-1 Kappa title match back at Scars and Stripes against Azarine, Miles Wildmore, and Alessandra. She almost damn near won the whole thing, but just couldn't get the job done at the end because of that 3-on-1 numbers game. And so we saw Lady Lavin get another opportunity here, one-on-one action against the undefeated, albeit a 1-0 record, Darla Quinton. And Darla comes back out, gets another win, and is now 2-0. Right behind another undefeated person in the women's division, no doubt probably helped by her involvement in all of those 3-on-1 matches, is Alessandra, currently sitting in the number 1 contender spot for Celestia's women's title. So I feel like if the route continues going here, and if we see Alessandra come out and do a singles match and she wins to kind of prove that this undefeated streak is more or less her, rather than just relying on the 3-on-1 scenarios with the trollish Kappa title thing going on right now, I think we could be seeing something really cool here between Alessandra and Darla just based on win-loss records. And of course, you have Monica Wake also creeping up the ranks there as well for that women's title. It's kind of funny how the usual names that we would usually think in terms of the women's title aren't really there now that the rankings have been established. It's like a whole new breed of names there at the top of the list, just looking at win-loss records. So kind of a huge spin on the women's division, but I think it was kind of needed because we had Lucinda and Chalk in there, which aren't even in the top 7 here. Surprisingly, they're nowhere to be seen. So this just completely shakes up the women's division as a whole, really. The next match was Necro defeating Vampy in a 4-star matchup. This was more or less for the hardcore division. It was a hardcore match. And funnily enough, we don't see Necro or Vampy in the top 7 for the hardcore title right now. I think this was more or less just a hardcore exhibition match between the two, just to pit each other against each other. And, you know, even if you're not listed in the top 7 for any ranking, a win is a win, and it'll help you get on those boards. So Necro getting a win here over Vampy in a very hardcore, very violent match was good for him. Not so much good for Vampy. The next match was a women's one-on-one match. We saw Lucinda taking on Fifi, 4.5 match star rating. And this was kind of a clash of veteran styles. I say veteran, but more or less like homestay, top of the women's leaderboard, veteran kind of esque style of Lucinda versus the new and energetic coming into the roster Fifi here in this matchup. Very fun match between two really cool streamers, fellow streamers on Twitch. So overall, this is an interesting thing too, according to the CPW webpage, but overall win percentile for overall across all 3 seasons, Fifi right now is currently the number 7 spot with a overall 62% win rate in all of her matches. So her taking a loss here doesn't help that at all, but it just goes to show that she has certainly won more matches than she hasn't. And I'm trying to see, I don't see her anywhere on any of these rankings, which is actually pretty shocking considering that. I guess it just means that her season 3 hasn't gone off to a great start in her previous season. It probably did, but Lucinda getting a win here does a lot for her, and hopefully with a few more wins under her belt next to her dagger, she'll climb back onto those leaderboards. The next match was a singles match. This was Mr. Cantot trying to get his revenge after getting trolled by the Unholy Alliance in that Kappa title match. He took on Miles Wildmore one-on-one. 3.5 match star rating here. Miles Wildmore picks up the win. And not only does this have something to do with the Kappa title, but also has a lot to do with the tag team titles, because as we know, Cantot and Morzel are currently the world tag team champions, and the Unholy Union are sitting at the number 3 spot with a 10-1 record. No doubt benefited by those, again, handicap matches for the Kappa title, but they are slowly creeping up there, up those ranks. So this Miles versus Cantot match had a little bit more to do than just someone being salty at losing the Kappa title opportunity. It's got tag team title implications here as well. The next match was Linky defeating Roxas in a singles match. We had a special referee of Spike Ryan, who came out here and from the get-go was basically screwing Roxas over every chance he could get. And Spike Ryan has definitely had a very interesting turn of attitude over the past, ever since 2026, really. Started off as kind of a good guy. Then he did what he did and, put the baby rage on Mr. Coke, and then felt like nobody appreciated him for doing that. Then he turned into a bad guy, and he's been trying to redeem himself every week by saying he's a good guy. But I don't know if there's just always that sense of it doesn't really mean a whole lot, his words compared to his actions. And wouldn't a nice guy not go as far as to kind of screw Roxas over in a special referee setting here? Wouldn't he still call it down the middle, even if he has a bone to pick against Roxas and all their history together? I don't know. Things aren't adding up between Spike Ryan, what he says and what he's trying to do, but he is imploring his peers like Linky and Puppy and AJ Jacobs that he has changed for the better and that he wants to be a team player again. But we'll see how this continues to lead up and build up moving forwards in terms of Spike Ryan. But Roxas takes an L here to Linky. And actually, this was, before I forget, this was actually a fun match because both of these guys were actually 6-6 in the TV title rankings. Actually, they were number 5 and 6. So this was a clash between 2 6-6 records between Linky and Roxas. So essentially, Spike Ryan cost Roxas the 50 percentile record of Roxas, and that puts him down a ranking And surprisingly, actually, Linky also dropped a ranking too because of Burnsy's win. That we'll get to right here, which was Burnsy defeating Bethany in a 2-star match rating. This one was more or less in regards to the Iron Knuckle title, which my fellow companion here has been requesting for several weeks now to see Barry Bones put his title on the line. Well, we didn't quite get that, but we did get to see an actual qualifier for the title belt, which was Burnsy versus Bethany. And Burnsy getting a win here, putting his record up to a 2-1 record, immediately shot him up the ranks to the number 2 spot, right behind Butcher Pete. And Bethany, unfortunately, falls down to the 7th spot. So while we didn't get Barry Bones in the actual match defending his title, we did actually get a match in the division for the belt. So take it or leave it, I guess. Certainly helped Burnsy out a lot, moving him up in his slappers up one step closer to facing Barry Bones. The next match was Danny Adi taking on Kadaj Valentine, 4-star match rating. This was really a match in the Young Lions division. I believe Kadaj was actually in the number 7 spot before this match. Unfortunately, he takes a loss to Danny here, and that removed Kadaj from the top 7 for the Young Lions title division. And Danny's had a really rough season 3, like really rough, like one of the worst. Let me see. Is he actually? No. Okay, so not rough enough apparently, because he's not in the top 10 for worst losses for season 3 or overall. So I guess I just remember the losses more than I do his wins is what it is. But Danny's had a rough go of things, but a win here was really good for him over Kadaj. 4-star match rating there will definitely help him in the right direction moving forwards. Then we started getting to the really interesting stuff because we had Leo Reigns defeating Rogue. And this one, you kind of turn your eyes over to the World Heavyweight title picture because Rogue was formerly the number 1 contender with a 7-1 record. And then Leo Reigns comes in with a win over him, and that puts him to a 2-1 record. Leo Reigns was normally a 1-1, and that kind of skyrocketed him up and puts him in the number 3 spot. I believe that he surpasses Grem now, because Grem used to be in the number 3 spot and Rogue used to be in the number 1 spot. So that kind of shook up that division a little bit. But as we know, Rogue and Nathan Moore have their eyes set on the tag team titles right now than the World Heavyweight title picture. So the fact that Nathan Moore and Rogue are the number 1 and number 2 contenders for Psycho T's world title, I guess really doesn't mean a whole lot right now, because Nathan Moore and Rogue are also number 1 contenders for the tag belts right now. So I guess Grem can breathe a sigh of relief knowing that their attentions are elsewhere. But he still has that Leo Reigns right ahead of him in that number 3 spot. And of course, you've always got to look out behind you. And he's got Raji, Spinny, and Wizard Boz climbing up now behind him as well after last week's events. And moving on to our next match, it was Zozakin defeating Cassidy Ryan, 2.5 match star rating. Zozakin right now sitting at the number 3 spot in the international title division. Cassidy Ryan currently unranked right now, so him taking another loss here to Zozakin was a terrible blow to his record. I don't think is he? No, he's not actually in the worst records, so that's good for Cassidy Ryan. But I think in the case of like him, it's like the same as Danny Adi. I think I just remember his losses more than I do his wins. So I guess that's neither here nor there, but taking a loss to Zozakin is not good for Cassidy Ryan, but Zozakin getting a win actually doesn't move him anywhere on the international boards. He stays in that number 3 spot under Nathan Moore and Azarain because all three of those guys actually picked up wins. So they just kind of stay where they are at. But a win is always going to be good regardless. The next match was Grim Weaver defeating AJ Jacobs, 3.5 match star rating. This was the international champion himself, Grim Weaver, coming out as the big, strong Wolfman, putting down the cruiserweight AJ Jacobs. This was a first time ever match rating, and actually a shocker to see AJ Jacobs step up to the international division. We haven't really seen this. AJ has been more kind of looming in the Young Lions division, maybe the cruiserweight a little bit in the tag team with Puppy. But for him to step up to the international champion was kind of a big out of nowhere match here, but also really good to see. It's always fun to see mashups between two competitors you wouldn't normally expect, and that's what we got here. Unfortunately, Grim Weaver used his size and his strength to just run over AJ Jacobs in this match and prove why he is the international champion. And of course, with the retain of his belt over Zozakin back at Scars and Stripes, Grim Weaver right now is on a really good streak right now, holding that belt. The next match was for the week's Kappa Championship match, and it was Azarine and Alessandra working together in a 2-on-1 match to defend successfully the Kappa title over Candy Sucks, who got the opportunity. And so Azarine and Alessandra worked together to turn away another victim for their Kappa title. I think a lot of people were pulling for Candy Sucks to win this match, but it just didn't happen. Azarine and Alessandra with Miles keeps a hold of their Kappa title one more week. And I see Candy Sucks is... I thought I saw her name on the ranking somewhere. I guess I don't now. Maybe she was up at the top here. Yeah, I think she was up at the top here. Let me just quickly... Yeah, there she is. Candy Sucks currently has a 71% loss on her record. She's the number 10 for overall across all 3 seasons. She's rounded out the final 10 spot for loss percentage. So Candy Sucks needs to start getting some wins in there and stop focusing on twerking. Of course, this 2-on-1 match for the Kappa title didn't help her record at all either, of course. The next match was Celestia defeating Jimbo Aberdeen, 3.5 match star rating. This is the women's champion, Celestia, taking on the giant man from Pineville, West Virginia. This was a match booked because, Celestia was being mean. So she got to fight Jimbo Aberdeen. And, well, wouldn't you know it, she actually beats him. So Celestia improves her record. She currently has, if we take a look here... I'm actually curious what her record is. So let's take a look and see where she's sitting at right now. She is actually sitting at a 6-7-1 record for season 3. So not the greatest record in the world, but she is women's champion. She's won where it's counted. So that's good for her. And a win over this mountain of flesh known as Jimbo Aberdeen was also very impressive, because you look at this match on paper and you're just like, okay, he's just going to flatten her and sit on top of her. But nope, she actually proved why she's a fighting champion and why she was the one to topple Asterial's giant, monstrous record at 308 days as women's champion. It was Celestia. She proved it here when the moment was hot, and she got the job done here over Jimbo Aberdeen. And then, of course, our semi-main event of the evening was Mr. Coke taking on Chain, a 3-star match rating. This was really neat because we don't really get to see Mr. Coke in singles action, expanding outside of his trolling of Roxas a whole lot. Usually he's in tag teams and stuff. So a Mr. Coke singles match was a rarity, but that actually moved. He was in the 7 spot, and a win over Chain. They actually exchanged spots here, as Mr. Coke was in the 7 spot, and a win here puts him at a 6-7 record, and now he's in the number 6 spot, whereas Chain dropped down to the number 7 with a 3-4 record. So Mr. Coke moving up the ranks, 1 ranking at a time, getting closer to that international title. He's got Mike Metal and Rock Hard Meat and Zozakin above him on those rankings there. And then our main event of the evening was Nathan Moore taking on the World Heavyweight Champion himself and winning in a 2.5 match star rating. And I'm going to be honest with you, so much has happened over the weekend that I completely forgot why this match was only a 2.5 match star rating. I don't know if it was count out or just submission just ended super quick or what happened here. But very quick match here, I would assume, with a 2.5 match star rating. And Nathan Moore getting a win over the world champion. I mean, I think he's already posted a promo about it since last Tuesday. He is hyped up. I mean, the world is in the hands of Nathan Moore and Rogue right now when it comes to CPW. I mean, you couldn't ask to be in a better spot right now when it comes to world heavyweight title and the tag team titles. And then Nathan Moore on top of that beats the world champion in a singles match, improving his record to a 9-2 record. He surpasses his own tag partner Rogue to get that number 1 contender spot for the world title. And they're undefeated right now as a tag team at 4-0. So, I mean, Nathan Moore looking real good right now. I mean, there was a time period there after he sent Tad Peters packing that we were like, okay, Nathan Moore's going to kind of take a break. He's MIA for a little while. But, man, has he come back out of nowhere, really, after that brief foray with Spike Ryan, and has really proven his dominance alongside his partner Rogue here, not only in singles action at the top of the leaderboards for the world title, but also as a tag team unit here. But again, Grem has a little sigh of relief here because they're mostly focused on Morsel and Cantot rather than the world heavyweight title. So the leaderboards are a little bit deceiving there on that end. But nevertheless, Nathan Moore and Rogue certainly have bragging rights here, seeing as where they stand right now when it comes to their singles matches. And of course, as I said, a win over the world champion in a non-title match is always going to give you some bragging rights there. But that was your CPW report for last week. We have the Altar of Pain coming up at the end of August. It's about 15 days away. It is our QuakeCon-inspired August PLE event for CPW. So if it happened tomorrow, if Altar of Pain happened tomorrow and we went based off of the title rankings right now, then we would literally have Psycho T defending against Nathan Moore, Grim Weaver defending against Nathan Moore, Celestia defending against an undefeated Alessandra, Morsel and Canton defending against Nathan Moore and Rogue for the tag belts, Feats defending the TV title against Mr. Cantot, who is one half of the tag champs, Deputy Dog defending against Monica Wake, Jen Von Lee defending the hardcore title against Morsel, who's the other half of the tag champs, Barry Bones. No, we're not going to have Barry Bones defending. Who are we kidding? Cruiserweight title, Piranha would be defending against Miles Wildmore. And then, of course, the Kappa title would be the Unholy Union defending against Morsel. So that sounds like a pretty fun card for Altar of Pain if it happened tomorrow. What say you, Grem?
It would be an okay card. I don't know about fun though. Unless you're a Nathan Moore fan, then yeah. I mean, for sure.
Like, or a Cantot or Morsel fan.
Yeah, I mean, then or Vicious and Delicious. Yeah, you'd be all over that. Did I miss it? Did you already say what your match of the night was?
Oh no, sorry. Let me go back. Let's see. What was my match of the night? Let's see here. You know what? Just for the sake that they were both there. They're not really huge wrestling fans. They're just here like most people in CPW and the Croakitoad community, just there to see their character in the wrestling game and just have fun watching it. But they're not like one of those hardcore WWE fans that watches every week or whatever. But they're two really cool fellow streamers that I met on Twitch, and I basically just created their characters and said, "Hey, your caricature is being used every Tuesday in a wrestling sense. It's simulation. It's CPU versus CPU. We just sit back and watch and everything." And they came by, they were there, they were watching it, and they were having a lot of fun with it. Of course, Lucinda's experience with it, she's been there a lot to watch and knows kind of how it is now. But Fifi was there, I believe, for the first time to really watch how everything worked and see her character and stuff. And just for that, it put a smile on my face to see both of those fellows. I think Lucinda actually even rated me right before that. But to see two fellow peer Twitch streamers there in attendance watching the match and just having a little bit of fun with it and the excitement and stuff brought a smile on my face. So just for the sake of that, I'm going to pick Lucinda and Fifi as my match of the night.
Just making sure. I was like, I didn't think I heard it.
No, I skipped over. But what is yours, and what are your thoughts about the state of CPW
obviously,
right now?
It's Burnsy versus. Actually, no, I cannot give a 2-star match of the night. As much as I wanted it so badly to be a 4-star match, or like at least 3.5, just to see like the Iron Knuckle get some love. Actually, mine was Maggie Moore versus Puppy. You had talked about it earlier. It was a lot of fun to watch that one. And Maggie, Maggie silently is really, really good, at this wrestling thing, And I know we talk about Nate Moore, but, Maggie Moore is pretty darn good too. So that would be my match of the night. Kind of touching base a little bit, like you said, 15 days for Altar of Pain. There's a lot that could still happen. A lot of things can change. Heck, Alessandra, for example, is one loss away, and all of a sudden, she could skyrocket down to like number 3. There's always fun with the Kappa division. I did feel bad for Lady Lavin a bit too. That was coming off her stellar performance at the PLE or pay-per-view. Taking on 3-on-1 for the Kappa title. and she almost won it. So and then all of a sudden she had that kind of a match, and then I was like, oh man, against Darla, who's new, this could be the match. This could be the one for Lady Lavin to kind of shoot up in the women's championship division. But obviously that did not happen. But yeah, I mean, anything can happen in the next next week, or I'm sorry, tomorrow's show, and then the following week. Anything can change it up. I kind of do hope it does, change up a little bit. Only for the fact that I don't know. I mean, hey, I like Nate. Nate's a cool guy. I hang out with Nate a lot. But like 3 title matches, I mean, come on, what are we doing here? Like, there's no way. But obviously that will not happen. But it is fun to see with the rankings and everything on what could happen and what who can kind of claim like, hey, I'm the #1 contender. And kind of go from there. So, but yeah, tomorrow night should be very, very fun and exciting. And I also noticed too, last week we had 16 matches. That's a lot of matches. I think normally we do 12, 13.
That is a lot of matches. Yeah. There was a lot of like ranking placements to go through, and
yes.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really, I was like, dang, it was a good show. Don't get me wrong, but we had a lot of matches, and I don't think it's going to get to 16 again tomorrow, but a lot of the matches that we're probably going to see tomorrow is going to make and break some of these superstars or wrestlers, whatever you want to call them. And, we're all here for it every Tuesday night.
Yeah, and out of those 16 matches, we didn't get to see from Grem or Asterial, noticeably.
Yeah, no, we did not.
A night off for the both of them.
Yeah, maybe that kind of cools down a little bit on what happened the prior week,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll see.
Well, the thing is that if Nathan Moore and Rogue is too busy trying to deal with Morzel and Cantot, if you strip them away, then you've got Leo Reigns and Grem up there.
Yep.
At the top. So
I mean, and Leo right now is sitting 3rd in the Iron Knuckle. So, I mean, at that point, if I'm Leo Reigns, I'd be like, yeah, let's go one more time. I'll dance with Psycho T.
Yep, and he's got the same exact record as Burnsy in that #2 spot. So that kind of makes that a little bit more interesting there.
Yep. Like I said, we have, 2 more shows, and then, the Ultra Pain. So anything can happen. And that's the fun part. And I'm glad that we have 7, because you can see the up and downs and everything, who's new, who's not. And, you kind of get an idea of like how the landscape changes each and every week, and how important it is for your character or, the wrestlers here to actually put on a win, or who they're teaming with. Because tag teams also count as wins, so that helps you out, and you got to work with your partner and everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, if we were comparing this to the NASCAR that we did earlier, Alessandra is currently in the #1 spot in season 3 with 6 wins, 100% win ratio. Morzel coming in 2nd, 87% wins. Nathan Moore 3rd with 81% wins. Cantot coming in at 4th with 80% wins. Same with Monica, tied. Actually, no. She's got 4 matches with 80% wins. Azarane, 11 matches, 78. And Miles, 11 matches, 78. Rogue, 7 matches, 77%. Jen Von Lee, 9 matches at 64%. And then Zozakin at 14 matches at 63%.
It's kind of wild too. I was just thinking about it. Maybe CPW can look into like a title that isn't defended, but at the end of the season, the highest person with a win percentage gets a winner's title, and maybe the highest loser gets a loser's title that they have to wear the entire year until the end of the next season.
Ooh. Sorry, honey.
Yeah, right now.
Wait, no, it's a 3-way tie.
Yeah, see?
Honey, oh my God, that's a lot of waste. We got Honey and then Jimbo Aberdeen. Not honey, no. You got Honey there, and then you got Jimbo Aberdeen and Shamu rounding out the 83% loss.
Can you imagine the final episode of the season for CPW, and you have a 3-way tie for the loss thing, and then you're like, well, what do we do? Like, how do we break that? You know, and then that person has to wear a loser's title for the entire season to showcase that they were a loser, like the biggest loser in season 3.
Kind of like the baby rage mask.
Yes, but instead, like, they have to wear it.
Yeah. When Coke decides to finally voluntarily take it off.
You know, it might be super glued on, and nobody's told them, you know?
Can we just really quick point out the fact that Sneaky Sean has the #2 best win rate in all time of CPW right now, 78%, across 11 matches.
That's nice.
And then you have Whiskers and Repo Man in there as well.
I was also noticing, too, you have Zozo and actually Morzel, too. Morzel had 21 matches at a 61.8%. I mean, that's not the number I imagine he wants, but that's still pretty darn good.
Yeah. So, yeah, having all this new extra doodads each week really makes it really cool to check out after the result of every Tuesday. By the way, someone that doesn't really ever get a whole lot of mention, Ryan Matthews, 104 days currently right now, holding on to that briefcase as well. Kind of the dark.
Should we always do like a Ryan Matthews watch every week and see if he's still a championship holder, or I'm sorry, the Money in the Bank holder or not?
I mean, I guess because he's really, I think he prefers to stay in the shadows because he wants people to forget about him. But he's got that instant shot where he can do it anytime, anywhere. And
at any title, right?
At any title, yeah. And the fact that he's not listed on any of the top 7s makes it even crazier because you're looking at these and you don't see Ryan Matthews. You don't think about him because he's in the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes him even more deadly to just like cash in anytime. His current record right now for season 3 is 6-4, by the way. He didn't have a really good season 2 at 4-17, but his season 1 was 8-4. So there you go, coming back to make up for that pretty bad season 2 there.
Yep.
But yeah, anyone listening to this here in the CPW block, you can always go to the Croakitoad.com, go to the Croakitoad Pro Wrestling page. You can see we are also 89 episodes into since the creation of CPW. We are 11 episodes away from our special 100th episode. We've seen 1,135 matches so far. There's been 154 wrestlers on the show. Azarine has the most wins in CPW history at 34. Wizard Boss has the most losses in CPW history at 37. The longest Goldberg streak is 8 with Azarine, and he's probably going to continue to improve that. The longest losing streak, Jen Von Lee at 13 matches. Oof. She had the terrible season 2. Just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Most team wins and team matches go to Anubis Khan. 41 tag team matches, and he's won 22 of them. Most titles someone has held, Psycho T at 4. Obviously, longest title reign goes to Asterial, 308 days. Shortest reign, Azarine and Alessandra at 6 days. I'm wondering what that's all about. That might be that might be a bug in the system there.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at that Kappa title.
While you're doing that real quickly, I did some counting real quick.
That is a glitch.
While you're doing how it is.
Yeah.
Real quick, I did some counting. October 20th, I believe, will be the 100th episode of CPW. If I did my math right. So nice. October 20th, which will be a week before the pay-per-view.
That's
in
awesome.
October.
That's awesome.
So that'll be sweet.
What better time to have your 100th episode than in October?
Yes, I agree.
That's really cool. So yeah, we have a bug in the system for the Kappa title because it was Azarine and Alessandra, and not Azarine and Alessandra and Miles Wildmore. So the system doesn't know that they're still champions. So we got to fix that. But most 5-star matches, 20 matches with Jess Moxie right now, and most 1-star or less matches goes to Ryan Matthews. So he's hidden from most of the data, but not there. But yeah, that's your CPW report. Fun show. As he said, we'll continue to see what happens leading up to Altar of Pain. We have 15 days to go. We have 2 more shows to get through, this week's show and the Go Home show, before we find out who steps up to who to try to go for what And of course, storylines and plots, devices and stuff also thrown in between as well. But yeah, it's been an interesting time in the land of CPW, especially with this new database that has been built to reflect all of these shows. And another thing to kind of look at in the near future is the fact that we're like a handful of months away from like news on the next WWE game coming out, to be honest. Like, I know it's 4 months until the new year, but like
March, April-ish. Yep.
Yeah, like it's not like it's a long ways away. Like it's half a year away from we're going to be starting to talk about the new WWE game again. So, but yeah, that's your CPW report. And with that being said, okay, we did in fact get the streamer data in time for this week's podcast. I was getting a little worried about not getting that, but we do have it here. So to end off our podcast, we will talk about what all of you were streaming in the Croakitoad stream team on Twitch. This is what you were all doing throughout the week while I was away at QuakeCon. And then we'll just go from the top of the list here. We had Disco Bunny playing some Directive 8020, Heart of the Forest, Until Dawn, The Invincible, Who's at the Door, Deep Under, She's Leaving, and Echoes of Aincrad. Now that's a list. Lucinda was playing more Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced as well. We had Coke Soda Can playing Doom, Metal Gear Solid, Tomb Raider 1 Remastered, DBD, Modern Warfare 2, 2022. Lots of games there for Coke Soda Can. We had Roxas playing Final Fantasy X2. We had Hype playing Golf with Your Friends, NASCAR 25, and Pratfall. I believe he was co-streaming with me while I was at QuakeCon for that stream there.
Yes, that is correct.
Dark Sage Ron was streaming, doing some Zelda Skyward Sword HD. RE Kitten 137 was doing some Power World. We had Feet Speeds Games playing I Am Jesus Christ. Hey, I remember when we covered that game on our podcast.
Yes, we did.
Dino Crisis, some TRLEs, and Lifeless Moon. We had Puerto Rican Chipmunk playing Peak and World of Warcraft. And hopefully while you're playing Peak, you weren't, instead of being chased by Nemesis or Mr. X, you weren't getting chased by the Scoutmaster. Chain TV was playing Rune Factory Force Special. Then we had Mama Buttons, Puddle Duck 22 playing some Disney Dreamlight Valley and Water Park Simulator. She was telling me that they fixed a bug or something in that Water Park Simulator game that corrected some stuff. So glad that happened. We had Necro playing some Drive Beyond Horizons. Then we had Urkamus doing Shift at Midnight in Resident Evil 5. I've seen a lot of this Shift at Midnight game around lately. Need to really check that out and jump into that. Patrick's Raider was playing The Evil Within. We had Zozikin playing Thank Goodness You're Here, Eternal Threads, and Games and Demos. Burnsy was playing Black. I remember when I played that game. I did not like it. And Civilization Revolution. I did, however, like that game. Tommy Spud was playing Pro Strategy Football 2024, College Hoops, 2K8, Mutant Football League 2, Out of the Park Baseball 27, Gran Turismo 7, E-Baseball, Pro Spirit 2026, Disney Dreamlight Valley, and NASCAR Racing 2003 season. Wait a minute. He was also playing WWE because I was commenting on the match right next to him.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting right next to him when he was playing it.
Yep, he had a tag team tournament.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Then we had It's Pocket, who was playing Pacific Drive, Sherlock Holmes, The Awakened, Dead Space, and 007 First Light. I Am Daniel McGee was playing Marvel Rivals. Lone Star was playing Apex Legends, Detroit Become Human, Euro Truck Simulator 2, Words on Stream, RE3, RE2, Minecraft. Modern Slave was playing Just Chatting, where in fact it was him just streaming the BYOC all weekend long. And why do I know that? Because I was 3 seats away from him when he was doing it. Then we had Jojo Spud doing some Dino Crisis, Lost and Found, a Bed We Made story, Mortal Mill, and Power World. Honey streamed some Elden Ring, Just Chatting, and Subnautica 2. We had Lilu doing some Teleforum, Just Chatting, Don't Knock Twice, From the Darkness, Find Yourself, Mouthwashing, Delivery Man, 9/11 Cannibal, The Night of the Scissors, Animals, Aquariums and Zoos, The Convenience Store, The Closing Shift, and The Boba Tea Shop. That sounds like my list from Croaktober like 2 years ago. most of those games I did. Atomic Bomb 1980 was playing some Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, Dishonored 2, and Heroes of Mount Dragon. And then we had Mabriel doing some Fortnite, DBD, House Flipper, Resident Evil 4, and Split Fiction. You guys were awfully busy over the weekend. Glad to see it. Happy to see it. And lots of activity from a lot of you this week. That's really awesome. Good to see that. And in terms of the Discord itself, when I ask you guys every week what you guys are up to, this is what you all had to say. Puddle Duck said, I've been playing Water Park. They fixed it now. So there you go. Coke Soda Can says, I've been doing TR1 New Game Plus, DBD, and Modern Warfare 2 co-op with CS. And apparently he did beat TR1 New Game Plus because I was hearing him talking about beating Natla on my drive home from QuakeCon. So I think he did that while I was in the car listening. Puerto Rican Chetma says, I've been peaking most of last week and finally beat the whole game naturally. Well, congratulations on beating Peak solo, Maggie. That's awesome. Lucinda says, I did a bit of naval combat and Black Flag Resync this week. Got most of the upgrades. Now probably going to power through the main story to see if we can wrap it up in 2 full streams. Coke Soda Can says, I'd like to do a quick casual playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 1 through 3 before the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2 comes out. We'll see if he does that. I'm holding you to it. And Feats finally said, played and finished both Lifeless Moon and the TRLE Trouble in Paradise this week. Both highly recommended. I also got a new PB in the very hard percentage category of Dino Crisis, 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 51 seconds. Well, hell yeah. Congratulations, Feats, on getting that new PB in Dino Crisis. Next up in the variety slot is Xena, Warrior Princess, and Spa Time in the TRLE slot. Both are viewer channel point redeems. Well, that's going to be interesting. I didn't even know there was a Xena, Warrior Princess video game, but more power to you, I guess. Let us know how it goes. Is it going to be as annoying as it sounds like it's going to be? Okay, but that being said, we got to reveal a streamer of the week. And honestly, I think for this week, what we're going to do is we are going to give this one to... You know what? Since he was there and he was sitting right next to me, I'm going to give it to him. For the first time ever, we're going to give this week's Streamer of the Week over to Tommy Spud. Hey, pop sound effects here and BYOCs. That's right, all the BYOCs. He was literally sitting to my left all weekend long, and as you heard, he was doing all types of sports simulations. Then that's what he usually does on his Twitch channel, from football to college basketball to mutant football to racing to baseball to NASCAR to WWE. He was all over the place. He was doing simulated tournaments left and right, and he was simulating like his own heart's desire. So yeah, congratulations to Tommy Spud on winning this meet Streamer of the Week, who is sitting directly to my left there in the QuakeCon BYOC. That being said, we are going to end off our podcast here with one last segment, and that is, you know what? This is a good one. We'll do this one. We're going to end off our podcast with a very special clip of the week, which comes from my own channel when I was also in the BYOC, sitting right next to Tommy Spud, our Streamer of the Week, and we were playing Pratfall, and this was during our successful run of Pratfall when we actually made it to the bottom and rescued the dog. And this occurs when my fellow podcast guest here, Grem, finally saw and heard what it's like to pick up a pizza in Pratfall and eat it. So let's take a listen. Oh yeah, eat the pizza.
Sorry,
all right, let's. Yeah, say I'm Grem and I like to eat pizza. Say cowabunga, radical dude.
Cowabunga, radical dude. Oh, that's not
Well, there you go. That's the side effects of eating pizza. I bet you never thought your voice were going to sound like that after you ate a slice, huh?
What are you talking about? I mean...
Wait, did you just eat another one? What's going on here?
No.
Okay.
You know, it's funny you picked that one and not the other one where you I don't know, missed the very bottom and we almost all lost because you aimed wrong.
Yeah.
Funny you didn't pick that one.
I guess I could next week. If I really wanted to. I don't know.
I was just calling you out.
Yeah,
It's funny. We were in the last part of Pratfall real quick, and he had, what was it called? What was
I had a spongy thing that you could just jump off and land on. It'll bounce you. You won't take fall damage. And then I had the zip line thing, and it's somehow I missed both on the way down.
Yeah. And then what ended up happening was I had died and I fell and I'm like, oh, we're at the bottom. I'm like, you guys are like right at the bottom. So the whole point was for Tad to hold on to this, by the way. So he made it all the way down with this thing, like from the top of the last section to the bottom. He was there and it's his time to shine. And then, well, we'll wait until next week to play the video on what happened. But yeah, I guess pizza makes your voice get deeper, huh?
Yep. Completely change your voice. Just be glad it wasn't monsters, because there's no telling what your voice would change into.
Yeah. I mean, that was the deep dish pizzas too, so that makes a lot of sense.
So that makes you wonder what a deep dish monster would make your voice sound like then.
We'll have to find out, potentially.
Yep. Next time on Toad Talk Podcast, I guess.
Maybe, or maybe not.
Or maybe not. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Toad Talk Podcast. I believe when we come back next week, we will actually have a new third rotating guest. Thanks to Azarine for joining us for their first half of this. When we come back next week, we'll most likely have someone new in that third spot. So you'll have to tune in next week to see who it is as we shake things up a little bit here. And of course, you'll be able to catch us. By the time you listen to this, we should be up and going on Audible, iHeartRadio. And if you're listening to us here on YouTube, make sure to check out the new Spotify host account that we're going to be uploading these episodes to, because we're going to be changing the Spotify host and re-uploading every episode on the new Spotify account. And then from there, it'll go out to Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Audible. So a little bit of finagling there, 20 plus episodes in, but we're gonna get this all sorted out and organized. But thank you all for listening again. Make sure to enter that GTA 6 giveaway, hashtag Starfish Island. Get in on that. Our giveaway is in November for GTA 6, the Ultimate Edition and the Standard Edition. Get in on that. Every week is a new opportunity to put your name in the hat. And as soon as you hear this drop on Spotify, throw your comments out there on that as well. But remember, the hashtags of each podcast do expire in 7 days. So you only have that first 7 days to post. You can't come back like 2 months later and go back and comment on the older ones. They only expire within the first 7 days. So get those comments in before that 7-day expiration fee. Thank you all for listening and hanging out with us again for another Toad Talk podcast. And if you have any other recommendations, suggestions, or anything that you'd like for us to talk about or cover, or trailers, video games, movies, whatever, pop culture, let us know in the comments, link us, or let us know in the Croakitoad Discord server. Other than that, we'll see you next Sunday with more Toad Talk podcasts. Grim, do you have anything to leave it off with?
You actually covered it too. I was going to say, yeah, leave your comments, even if you're not in the Discord, leave your comments wherever you're listening for either movies, games, or any other topics you guys might want us to kind of touch on. We're always looking, we're always listening, and we're always wanting to do what you guys want to hear. So that's half the reason why we wanted to do this. The other half is because it's just a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're always open for suggestions, topics of interest when it comes to games, movies, pop culture, TV shows, streaming stuff, sports, WWE, whatever. So hit us up. Let us know if you would like to ask us a question in the comments. Feel free to do so, and we will indulge. But yeah, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next Sunday for the next episode of Toad Talk Podcast. Thank you, everyone, for supporting us through all of our 20 plus episodes. See you next week.
Whoop.